Hey guys, welcome in. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Happy Friday. Man, we got a fun show for you guys today. All right. So, yesterday, we were talking about Ryan White. And you guys know, I've said this for years, I think Ryan White is a Mount Rushmore of all-time Hoosier people, like one of the most influential Hoosiers who ever lived. If you say we were going to make a Mount Rushmore of greatest Hoosiers, and one of the standards would be the amount of people that you impacted and the positivity of the impact, how could Ryan White not be there? And so came out the other day, Ryan White is getting a statue at Indiana University. And I thought that was outstanding. Now, Ryan White passed away before he was able to attend college, but his dream was to attend Indiana University. And so I was honoring him and his contribution to society and public health with a statue. I said, that's absolutely outstanding. And then we got on to the fact that, one of the people that got to know Ryan White was Donald Trump. Donald Trump was essentially the landlord for Michael Jackson in the 80s, part of the 90s, Trump Tower, New York. And Trump gifted Michael Jackson the ability to use his airplane to go see Ryan White. And I think Trump, I believe on multiple occasions, ended up going with Michael Jackson to see Ryan White. So he got to know Ryan White. And when I interviewed Trump, because when I interviewed Trump, one of the things I decided is I was like, and I didn't get a lot of time. It was literally like maybe a 12-hour notice that this is going to happen. And so I said, well, like, I don't want to ask him the stuff everybody else asks him. That's kind of boring, right? It's like this show. We do stuff kind of goofy. I know it's a little off that you would do an all local podcast. I know, kind of goofy, kind of silly, right? But one of the things we decided was we're going to do stuff that nobody else is going to do. And that's going to change the amount of people or the maybe type of people that'll listen. But we are just like the old radio show. We're going to give people something they can't get anywhere else. And so I said, I'm going to ask Trump things that nobody else has asked him. And I knew that Trump had been, I don't know if close is the right word, but that he knew Ryan White. And so I asked Trump in the interview about Ryan White, and he was just elated to talk about Ryan White and the impact that Ryan White had. And got busy yesterday morning. I had an ant invasion yesterday morning. And I was going to pull the audio so we could play it when we were talking about Ryan White. I wasn't able to do it. I said, okay, I'll do it now last night, and we'll play it today. And then Jason and I got talking, and I said, I'm not sure that I have ever listened back to that interview in its entirety since the day it aired 10 years ago. We've played little clips about it. We've had fun over the years with it. He called me a great dream and all of that. But I don't think from start to finish I have ever actually listened to the entire Trump interview from start to finish. And so I thought, well, why don't we just play the whole thing for everybody? And so we're going to play the whole interview from start to finish a little bit later on in the program. And then when we were digging through interviews from 2016, how like you get in a rabbit hole, you're looking for one thing. A lot of people do this on YouTube. They'll get in a rabbit hole where you're looking for something and then you end up somewhere you didn't even think. We do this with audio all the time, all the old files and stuff that we've kept. And I got down a rabbit hole and I realized not too long after I interviewed Trump, I interviewed Holcomb and Pence before Pence was the nominee for vice president. I found the old interview with Holcomb and Pence, and we said, well, if we're having fun anyway, why don't we air that one too? So coming up in a little bit, we'll air the Trump interview in its entirety, and then this interview I did with Pence and Holcomb in 2016 before Pence was named the vice presidential nominee. So we're going way back in the time machine today. It's Friday. Let's have a little bit of fun. But before we get to that, we start with the current governor of the state of Indiana, Governor Mike Braun. And look, I've told you guys this for a while now. Braun is a habitual liar. Braun is the John Lovitz character on Saturday Night Live. He stops just short of going, yeah, that's the ticket. Yeah, that's the ticket on just about everything he says. And one of the things, and you saw this with Biden a lot, because Biden lied about everything. And people kept asking, well, like, why does he do this? It's things that were just patently obvious. The Amtrak stuff that was just so easily refutable. And people, well, like, why would he do that? And the answer was because he always got away with it. They get away with it. The media does not properly challenge these people. The media does not hold them accountable. The media does not call them out. The media lets them say, whether it's Hogshead or Braun or any of these people, whatever it is they want to say, and then they just go on. I mean, look what we're dealing with now. We're both Banks and Rokita. Jim Banks, U.S. Senator, Todd Rokita, Attorney General, obviously knew what Diego Morales was for years and years and years. They did absolutely nothing about it. They endorsed him. They stood behind him. And then once they realized, probably because they got some sort of internal something that said, he going down, they said, oh, well, the scandals are just too much. We're done. Scandals, plural. Like one scandal wasn't enough to pull the endorsement. Scandals, plural, too much. Of course, there were scandals, plural, the entire time. These guys lie about everything. These guys lie about everything. And they do it because they get away with it. No one has held Rokita or Banks accountable in the past, whatever it's been, 2 or 3 weeks about any of this. They just got away with it. I mean, Banks went on Whoa not that long ago, and they let him play weatherman. Sports reporter Jim Banks. Hey, how about this major issue over here? Here's the weather. These media people, and this is the new thing, were the media people on our side. Now, it's happened sort of in the mainstream with the left forever. It used to not happen on our side. It is the thing now, where these people, these commentators, whatever, would rather be friends with these people. Now, the dirty secret is, for the most part, politicians are ratings death because they're boring as hell. Now, unless there's some big topic or really big guest, having politicians on, it's why we don't do it much. We do every so often, but not a lot. And that goes back to the old show, too. Now, I can make anyone interesting, but for the most part, their ratings death because they're boring. But it has been ingrained in commentators, you need the politicians. You need them. Why? Hey, here's Banksy doing the weather. You'll want to tune in for that. Well, what about this massive thing where he unendorsed the Secretary of State because he said he lied to him about the non-citizen working in the office? And then maybe we should probably ask about all the other scandals that old Banks-a-Rooney ignored. No. Here's Banksy with the weather. These politicians lie because they get away with it, because no one ever holds them accountable. And that brings me to Braun yesterday when he got asked about data centers. So Braun gets asked yesterday about data centers. We're going to play the audio here for you in a second. And he just did the habitual liar routine. Now, do you want me to Jason, what would be better? For me to point out all the lies and then let people hear the audio so they can know the lies, or play it first and then point out the lies? All right, that's a great idea. So here's what we'll do. We'll play you the audio of Braun yesterday talking about the data centers. It's like, remember the cartoons when I was a kid? They had the cartoons where you could spot what's wrong with this picture, like what's different about this picture. That's what this is. Let's see if you guys can spot the lies in this audio of Braun talking about the data centers. Take a listen.
I'm a big believer in local rule. We got 92 counties, and I can tell you one thing. Any data center that comes into this state, they're paying for every penny of the construction, and they're going to be putting more electrons onto the grid to lower prices. AEP, one of our investor-owned utilities, is going to be coming out with a case where that's actually happened. The ones that snuck in early, thank goodness, were small ones, but they did drive up utility rates. And I was the only governor, I think, in the country that reconstituted their regulatory agency to be ratepayer conscious. I replaced 3 of the 5 board members to not be a rubber stamp for investor-owned utilities and other electric generators. Keep the ratepayer in mind. So data centers, every county needs to look at it. They will give you a bunch of really high-paying jobs, tons of construction jobs, probably lower your property taxes, but it's going to be up to you. Make sure it makes sense. Don't be reflexively against it or for it without sorting it out.
All right. Are we ready to work through it? I mean, There's a whole bunch in there. And by the way, that was our old pal Indy Reporter had posted that clip at Indy_Reporter_ on Twitter. He does a whole lot of local government, state government stuff. If you want to follow along with him, there are they. You guys are loud. Okay, all right. So let's start with this one. I heard it and I was like, oh no, like what do I even begin with? Let's start with this one. First of all, he claims data centers will lower property taxes. That's a lie. These data centers are under massive special property tax abatements, as in like decades in some cases. And even if they ever got to or got out of the massive abatements that they're under, many of these data centers will be in special taxing districts, i.e. LEAP, i.e. tax increment finance districts, in which the money generated stays in the area. It doesn't get passed along to the entities. It stays in a special area to do infrastructure in that area. The money doesn't get passed on. It doesn't lower anybody's property tax rate. And by the way, we're going to get into this on Tuesday of next week. Matt Gentry, the mayor of Lebanon, is going to be with us. Remember a couple days ago when I was talking about my property tax appeal, he messaged me and he's like, hey, we got to talk about how the whole assessment thing works because of the businesses and how the businesses are making out like bandits on the assessments. That is a flat-out lie by Braun that these data centers are going to lower anyone's property taxes. And if he don't, and here's with Braun, here's what's most scary. I don't know whether it's a lie or he don't know. You look at almost every one of these data centers and the special abatements that they are under, and you tell me, and the tax increment finance districts or special taxing districts that many of them are under, and you tell me how that's going to lower anyone's property taxes in the near future, in the foreseeable future. Lie number one. Number two, he claims they'll create good-paying jobs. Bull. We all know the data centers employ hardly any people. I know in one community that did a data center or is trying to do a data center, that's the pitch to the community. That's the pitch. The pitch is, hey, there's this huge open farm field. The guy's going to sell his land. It's Pittsburgh, by the way. I don't mind telling you. It's Pittsburgh. They're proposing a massive data center in Pittsburgh off 74. And they basically told the community, hey, that guy's selling the farm field. You got three options. You got high-density housing, you got warehouses, you got the data center. Because people are upset about the data center. And this is the new strong arm they're doing, by the way. And they told these people, he's like, you got three options. If you take the high-density housing, you got a bunch of people you don't want and a bunch of damage to the infrastructure and not as many tax dollars. You take the warehouses, you got the truck traffic, you got the noise, you don't want that. You get the data center, there ain't no people. We build it, it's there, there's a few people to run the joint, that's it. So the idea about the good-paying jobs, he's full of crap. Now, if you want to talk about construction jobs, they're temporary, and only for the construction workers. And two, it's not like it's a sustainable job. It's like, oh, that's a job that'll keep coming back. No, you build the thing, they move on. And two, as it relates to construction workers, as we found out in Sullivan County, when Ben Verbanek from WTHI over in Terre Haute was with us the other day, and now we're seeing this with the Meta District. The Capital Chronicle had a big article about this with Meta and Leap. They're mostly for out-of-town workers. These are not people in the community. Ben Verbanek was with us earlier this week talking about how there's this outrage from these union guys over in the western part of the state because they were promised the jobs. The jobs would be local on that massive data center complex in Sullivan County. Transplants. So yeah, there'll be some construction jobs to build the thing, but a lot of them ain't going to local people, and in many cases, they ain't going to Hoosiers. Then Braun starts lying about the all the stuff he's done with the IURC, the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission. He did appoint, he had to. It's not like he made the choice to. He had to. He did appoint 3 new board members. But there's not a single thing these people have done that will lower rates for everyone. There's not a single action taken thus far, taken by the IURC, that'll lower rates for everyone. Nothing. He's lying. Just like he replaced the IEDC and declared that problem solved, and then the new IEDC board came in and did the exact same stuff the old board did. He took that audit that he did of the IEDC and he wiped his butt cheeks with it. He did nothing meaningful. This is what Braun does. He does something, then considers the problem solved, declares it solved, and moves on, when many times he makes it worse, i.e. property taxes. Remember, Braun's like, we fixed it. Call and thank me. Everyone loves it. They're excited. Well, there's 100 school referendums this year, so I don't think the schools are happy. And when those pass, I don't think the taxpayers will be happy. So I don't think everyone's happy. This is exactly what he's saying with the IURC, is exactly what he did with the IEDC. Now, I know, kind of goofy and silly I'm spending so much time on this, because who the hell would care about the governor lying out his ass for a minute and a half? Kind of goofy, right? Some people think our show's a joke. And I guess they think you're a joke because you watch every day, because you're engaged. Some people think it's a joke. It's silly. It's kind of goofy that you would spend this much time on things nobody else will take on. Because the people who think it's goofy, they wants to be friends with the politicians, especially the local ones. It's why they don't take it on. So, Braun with the IURC is the same thing with Braun with the IEDC, which you put some new people on, you call it solved without any meaningful change. There's nothing the IURC has done yet that will create any sort of rate reductions across the board for Hoosiers. Zero. And Braun, in that clip, also appeared to make pretty clear he has no intention of doing the one thing the state desperately needs to do, and that is create mandatory minimum requirements or a floor for all of these data centers. The state should be getting involved in this, and I'm not a huge state should be involved, but in the case of this, which is it's gutting communities, it's tearing people apart. A lot of these deals are bad deals. It's the Wild West. There is not a hint of obligation to these data centers. It's whatever they can strong-arm the local governments into, and the citizens are screwed. And Braun doesn't want any part of it. Braun does not want any part of this. And these things are just lies. There's no, it's open to interpretation. So either he don't know or he's lying. I don't know which one is worse. I don't know which one is more scary. Just listened to that yesterday. I was just like, you've got to be kidding me. And you know who's going to hold him accountable in the media? Me. You know who else is going to say anything? Nobody. He's going to get away with it. And they do it over and over and over and over again because they get away with it. Hey guys, if you've owned your home for a few years, now may be a good time to explore your options. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage is a local mortgage advisor helping Central Indiana homeowners refinance to access cash for home improvements, consolidate higher interest debt, or simply review whether a better loan structure is available. Gary believes every homeowner deserves a personalized mortgage review, not a one-size-fits-all solution from a call center. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more today. Loansbygary.homes. Gary Tedrow, Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 179207, equal housing lender. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to play the Trump interview. I've not heard this thing. I tried to recall, have we ever played the whole thing in its entirety? I don't think we have in 10 years. There's probably some stuff in here I have no idea I even said. So we're going to listen to it together. We'll have some comments on it. Let's have some fun. It's a Friday. We'll be back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Buying a home or thinking about refinancing? Work with someone local who understands the central Indiana market. Gary Tedrow with Verity Mortgage helps homebuyers and homeowners explore options for purchasing, refinancing, or even consolidating higher interest debt through their mortgage. Gary's approach is simple, clear advice, and personalized guidance, so you can make confident decisions. Visit loansbygary.homes to learn more or get started today. You've got nothing to lose but dollars on your mortgage payment. So call for a free, no-obligation quote, 317-695-5179. Gary Tedrow, NMLS number 179207 with Verity Mortgage, NMLS number 70345, an equal housing opportunity lender.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on The Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us here. In just a few moments, we're going to play the Donald Trump interview. And, I have no idea what he even said. I mean, I know some of the things, but I've not heard this in probably 10 years. I do not think we ever, on the old radio show, played the thing in its entirety. We played little clips and had some fun with the Great Dream stuff and all that. But I don't think we've ever played the whole thing in its entirety. So Jason put together a little photo montage with it. And these photos were actually taken by Jason in some of the early days of his photography career. Jason went to the Trump rally with me in I think this was April of 2016. 420. Oh, it's 420. Oh, it was at the fairgrounds, and that was the first Trump rally. I remember he ended up having a whole bunch, and so I'll set all this up for you guys here in just a moment. And then when Jason joins us later, we'll talk about it. Look, the reason we're doing this is because I wanted to play you guys the clip of Trump talking about Ryan White. And then once Jason and I started talking about this yesterday, I said, I don't know if I've ever heard the whole thing back in its entirety since it played. So we pulled it. And so the photos you'll see, Jason actually took those photos at the Trump rally. So we'll get to that in just a second. Couple of reminders. First of all, if you haven't, hit the thumbs up for us today. If you're watching us live on YouTube, give us that thumbs up. Really helps us grow the program. If you like the great local content you can't get anywhere else, give us that thumbs up. Help us grow the program. Share us out. Put the feed out. Facebook, Twitter. Let people know we're here. We are dependent upon organic growth. And last but certainly not least, subscribe to the channel. We call it like, we call it share, we call it subscribe. Help this goofy little local podcast grow. Depending on you guys, you are the best audience in the whole world. Like, share, and subscribe the channel. We don't give enough love here. Love to all of our on-demand listeners as well. There's tons and tons of you guys out there. I know I get a little caught up in the live feed because we're doing it live. But the Apple, the Spotify, the iHeart, all of you guys, you're amazing as well. Thanks for those 5-star reviews. Those really help us out. Thank you guys for helping out the program and the great reviews you guys leave as well. All right, live show. Guys, we're 2 weeks away. We're 2 weeks away. We still got a few tickets left. If you want to join us, June the 27th, Mad Hatter Comedy Club Event Center in Greenwood. I know a bunch of you went the last time. This is going to be a different show, different setup, smaller setup. little more intimate, as they like to say. And we want you guys to join us June the 27th. Get your tickets now. RobKendallShow.com. RobKendallShow.com is where you can get your tickets. We got the live link up there. Join us. It's gonna be fun. All of your friends from the YouTube chat will be there. Let's have a great evening together. Support the show. Help us grow the show. Get your tickets. RobKendallShow.com. Thanks, by the way, to our friends at Double D's Barbecue. They're going to be one of the sponsors of the event as well. They've really stepped up. They got some cool stuff they're supposed to be getting to us. So we'll tell you about that hopefully next week. Also at RobKendallShow.com, support button is up. If you like what we do, keep the show afloat, head over to RobKendallShow.com. Support button, $1, $10, $100. Hope your little favorite goofy podcast thrive. RobKendallShow.com. All right. So let's get into the interview. So just kind of a reminder, I know we talked about this before, of how this all happened. So this interview was 2 days. Was it 2 days? 1 day. It was the day, no, it was 2 days, I think, before the Indiana primary. So guys, remember how things were going in 2016. It was Trump was in the lead by May. Trump was in the lead. He was going to be the nominee, but Cruz and John Kasich were still in the race. He was the, what they call him? The Secret Service called him the presumed. He was the presumed Republican nominee for president. And Cruz and Kasich were still in the race because Trump had not gotten the number. He was going to get it. It was like 99% chance he was going to get it. But Cruz and Kasich were kind of teaming up. Remember how silly it got? Like Cruz had appointed a vice presidential candidate, Carly Fiorina. It's like, you're not even going to be the nominee. You have a vice presidential candidate? How arrogant are you? And then Kasich and Cruz teamed up, and they were like giving each other their delegate, like telling, like, if you live in Indiana, vote for Cruz. If you live in this state, vote for Kasich. Like, it was the most crazy thing ever. So Trump did still have to try. He was going to win, but they wanted to get it wrapped up as soon as possible. And so he was out there actively campaigning in a variety of states because he wanted to get it wrapped up to be done with these guys. And I think, memory serves me, he got enough votes on the night of Indiana's primary to get the nomination. Like it was a sweep across the board. All these states that these guys were campaigning in, Trump got enough votes that he was able to wrap it up and be done. And that sort of created some of his affinity for Indiana. But he spent, if you guys remember, Trump spent the better part of a month in Indiana. Like, he came back several times. He was at the fairgrounds multiple times. He was at Carmel. In fact, he was at Carmel the day I did this interview. He left there and went to Carmel. He was in South Bend. He was Terre Haute. He went to a whole bunch of different places across the state. Now, Jason, what would be best? Would it be best for me just to play the interview and then talk about it, talk about the background, the setup, how it all came together? Okay. All right. So, this interview aired originally on 98.9 WIRZ. And everybody wanted this interview, by the way. All the big guys, the IBC people, some people, the fan wanted it, like all the TV people, everybody. And they were like, who the hell is this guy? And I'll explain who the hell this guy was and why I got this interview. But here is the interview with Donald Trump, with the fabulous photos and visuals put together by producer Jason. You guys enjoy, and then we'll talk about it when we come back.
Well, we are speaking with the man who has redefined the political movement in this country, a hero of mine, Mr. Donald Trump. Mr. Trump, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much.
It is a huge honor, and I want to say thank you on behalf of the millions of people out there, the voiceless folks who have looked for somebody to inspire them. Thank you for standing up for us.
Well, hopefully they are voiceless no longer.
Your rallies are so wonderful. I've been at 3 of them so far.
Good.
The energy that we have at these rallies is so great. Why are people so drawn to Donald Trump, the candidate?
I think more than anything else, they're tired of the lies of politicians. They just lie. I watched Ted Cruz. I watched what he said. Even this morning, I was watching what he was talking about with so many different things where they misrepresent positions. And it's really a terrible thing. And as an example, I'm totally going to repeal and replace Obamacare. And this morning, he says, Donald Trump loves Obamacare. I mean, it's just disgusting to hear it and to listen to it. But you do listen, and people are tired of listening to it. It's all rhetoric. It's all, frankly, in most cases, it's just lies, and people are tired of it. They're tired of receiving less money today than they received 18 years ago in terms of real wages. I mean, you have people making less money today. They're older. Maybe they're not feeling well, and they're working two jobs, and they're making less money. And we're going to bring our jobs back to this country, or we're going to make it just something very, very special again.
Day one, I saw your speech in New York, and I said, "There is our next president of the United
Oh,
States."
wow.
And
You and my wife.
yeah, caught a lot of flack from a lot of people, but it has been a joy to talk about what you're going to do for America, and it's great to see people, especially in Indiana, coming on board with that. Why are people drawn to your message? What is it you, or is it the message you're putting out there?
Well, first of all, that's so nice what you just said. I really appreciate it. And there were a lot of people that were skeptical. They said, "Why would he do it?" and everything else. And I'm doing it because, I'm putting something back because this country has been great to me, and we're going to be able to really, really, I think you'll be even more impressed later on. But the message is really, I think, I assume I'm a good messenger, but that's what I am as a messenger. The message, nobody's been able to understand the message until over the last few months, and now it's too late for them because the people get it. And, the people that don't understand the message, even if they say it, those people will never do it if they ever got elected. They'll never be able to do it. I've understood it at a gut level for a long time, for many years, and I've seen it. I almost ran last time, and I was almost going to, go against Romney. I think I would have beaten Romney easily, and I think I would have won the election. Romney let us down. He should have won that election. But it is really a message, and I'm the messenger. And basically, we have to take our country back. We have to stop with all of this political correctness. We're afraid to open our mouths. I mean, you're afraid to even say anything nowadays. You end up, if you're in my world, you end up with front page news on something that's absolutely fine, what you said. So we're gonna straighten things out. We'll be saying Merry Christmas again, believe me.
You have taken down some of our country's greatest Republican politicians, one by one by one. When you started this, did you think it would be everybody's going to gang up on Mr. Trump the way it was, or how did you see this sort of unfolding?
Well, I think I got him by surprise initially because most people thought I would be in it for a little while, have some fun, and get out. This isn't fun. I mean, to me, it's a very hard job. It's work, and but it's gratifying to see what's happened. And you're right. I took him out one by one by one. Nobody else took him out. I took him out, and then you wonder why they don't endorse me. Like I took out Lindsey Graham very systematically, and frankly, he was easy. And then he gets on television all the time, and he just knocks me and criticizes me, and it's horrible. And he says the wrong thing. He's been in charge to a certain extent of our strategy at war. And he'll say, "I've been doing this for years. What is Trump now?" Well, the fact is, he has been doing it for years. We're in worse shape now than we were years ago because they don't know what they're doing. But, you take people out like that, and then they forgot that Lindsey Graham was running, and he was pretty violently taken out. I mean, he went from 6% to nothing, and in his own state, he got practically nothing. I had 38, and he had almost nothing in South Carolina. But people forget that he was a member, and, it's amazing how quickly they forget, frankly. It's a little bit too unfortunate. I have to keep reminding them. But, guys like that, they get on television, and they spew such hate. And it's only hate because they lost. They lost. Jeb Bush, the same thing. I saw him on television recently, and he wasn't exactly positive, although he did say it's a phenomenon what's happened. And I think it is. It is a phenomenon. It's been on Time magazine cover many times, and it's been amazing. But the real thing that's a phenomenon is the people, because they're rising up against politicians, and it's a beautiful thing to watch.
You have been successful in pretty much everything you've done, and you are what a president should be. Great family, great businessman, very philanthropic with your time and your energy and your money. What do you think is your greatest attribute that you bring to the nation?
Well, I understand the problem, and I'm going to be able to fix the problem. I mean, to be honest, it's a little bit like getting into a great college. Getting into Harvard, I've always said, is probably, definitely, it's a lot harder to get in than it is to stay there. Getting into the Wharton School of Finance, which is a very hard school to get into, it's much harder to get in than it is to stay there once you're in. And I'll tell you what, it's very hard going through this horrible process because it is a very, very derogatory. It's a nasty process. The lies, and frankly, the lies from the media, what they do. I mean, what they say, and they'll make up stories literally. So it's a very nasty process. But once we get there, it's common sense. I fully understand it. I fully know why things are going so badly, and much of it is because special interest groups want them to go a certain way. Whereas I'm self-funding, so I don't worry about the special interest groups. I'm going to do what's right for the people. So I really think once we get there, it's going to be a beautiful thing to watch.
Our guest is the next president of the United States, Mr. Donald J. Trump. You have been so gracious to Indiana, and I think it's great. A lot of politicians, they'll come to Indianapolis, they'll jet out. You have been all over the state. You've been to Fort Wayne. You've been up north. You've been Terre Haute yesterday. Got to see you in the historic Terre Haute Theater. You really have a love for these states when you come into them, don't you? And you get to know them.
I do. And in the case of Indiana, I have so many friends that live here, and they're incredible people and successful people in pretty much all of the cases, but very successful people. They work so hard. And I think that maybe helps in terms of Indiana, that I have so many people that are friends that live here. But it's an amazing place, an amazing state, but its jobs are being taken out like candy from a baby. You're losing your jobs. Your steel industry is a mess. It's what's happening to your steel industry is horrible. Your coal industry. I mean, you have so many industries that are just getting clobbered, and it's a shame, but we're going to turn it around.
A couple quick questions as we close here. You are part of one of the great stories of Indiana. It ended up being a young man who was an icon to millions of people after his death, and inspired a lot of people. Ryan White, and I just so many people don't know the philanthropic nature of what you did for Ryan White and his family, and that's such a big story here. If you wouldn't mind, just touch on what touched your heart about Ryan White.
Well, Ryan White really was an important story because he represented so many people. That was very early in the AIDS crisis, and Michael Jackson lived in Trump Tower, and I knew him very well, and he actually had a very big heart. I mean, he was a very different kind of a guy, but he had a very big heart, and I was doing very well, and I've been doing things for a long time also, and Michael asked me would I go and see Ryan White. I said, "Who's Ryan White?" Because Michael really, really felt very strongly about it. And he explained it. And I said, "Well, that sounds good." I had no idea the importance. Ryan White's life was a very important life because it was at the beginning of the AIDS crisis. And it was really almost the first one that I remember where it was such a big, big story. And Michael Jackson and I flew to Indiana, and we met with Ryan and with his mother, who's a wonderful woman. And it was a very sad thing to see. And in that time, there was absolutely no cure. You couldn't do anything. There was nothing. And Ryan ultimately died pretty quickly. But he was a great young guy, and he had such courage and everything else, and it was good. And I didn't even realize, but it was just brought up recently, and I'm happy to have been a part of it. And hopefully, we made a lot of people aware of what is going on with the AIDS crisis. Ryan White, in a certain sense, led a great life and a very important life because he really did represent that early stages of AIDS and the horror, the horror show that it is.
I want to close with this, and again, thank you so much for your very valuable time today. My first memory of you is your building hosted WrestleMania. And I remember it was so successful and it was so great. And then you participated in WrestleMania years later. Do you think there's anything you wouldn't be good at if you really set your mind to it? Is there anything you can think of?
Well, I always say you have to love it. And there are things that I really don't enjoy that I wouldn't be good at if you don't love it. But that was a lot of fun. And I guess I hosted a couple of the early ones. You look too young for that. You must have been very young when you went in. But I did. I hosted a couple of the very early WrestleManias. And I starred in their all-time. It was called the Battle of the Billionaires between Vince McMahon and myself, and that was their all-time, the biggest in history, WrestleMania to this day. That was about 6-7 years ago, and that was in Detroit, and it was the largest crowd and the largest pay-per-view. It was the biggest one they've ever had to this date. But I've had a lot of fun with Vince McMahon and the WWE, and I'm in the Hall of Fame, and a lot of good things have happened. But it's been a lot of fun. That's so nice that you remember.
Mr. Trump, again, I just want to close by thanking you. These past, I guess it's almost 10 months, 11 months now, have been just such a joy to watch you shake up the political landscape, to divide the cartel that's really ruined our nation. And thank you for standing for what's right, and for the millions of people who don't have the privilege of talking to you. Thank you for what you've done for our nation.
Well, I really appreciate how nice you are, and you're terrific. I wish I could have every interview just like this. Okay, that would be a great dream. But you really, know what's happening. I mean, you understand it, you get it. You're not doing it because you like me or you dislike me. You see what's happening in the world, and you see what's happening with our country, and so many bad things are happening. Our jobs are being taken away. Our military is so, becoming weaker and weaker by the day, and we're going to turn it all around.
All right. There you go. Oh, that was wild. Thanks for Jason. An awesome job putting those pictures back with the audio. We'll post that up later and share it. Man, that that brought back so many memories. And I don't think I've heard that in its entirety in 10 years. And like the first thing that stands out to me about that, and maybe I'll just talk about the interview first and then the background on it, because the background on it is fascinating. How in touch Trump was with people, but the things he was saying compared to where he is now. Like, and what I mean by that is, like, he was so spot on with understanding like where the country was, and the very articulate way that he described pockets of problems in our society. Compared to now, you've got him, the reason he's in the polling position he is a complete lack of, no, it just feels like a lack of empathy, maybe understanding. I don't know what the word is on inflation. I mean, that Donald Trump would have never said, oh, I like inflation. Inflation is great. The things he was talking about there compared to the way he's talking today and the things he's talking about, it's just like it's like a different world. And that's from his perspective. And then like him talking about the politicians. Yeah, Lindsey Graham's a rotten bastard. And we all know that. And that Donald Trump, he understood Lindsey Graham was a rotten SOB. And you look at where that Trump was willing to take on everyone for what they had done versus the Trump now where the alliance is not your voting record, but on the things I mandate you do, how do you do them, and how subservient are you? I mean, Lindsey Graham and Trump are like best friends now. The Trump that I was enamored with was that guy. And that guy and the guy today, it ain't the same world. And I hear myself. And, I guess in a 40-year lifespan, 10 years is a long time. That doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but just, I think about like the tone of my voice, like the optimism of where I was with the Trump candidacy to where today where I'm just like, every one of these guys are liars. They all suck. They're all letting everyone down. You can't trust any of them. I'm out on all of you people. Like that, like I listened to myself there. And yeah, I was very optimistic because of the stuff that Trump was saying that he was going to deliver for the country. And I think to some extent, now the spending was totally out of control, but I think to some extent, pre-COVID, Trump did some of those things. And then COVID and the riots and all that stuff, and it just like it all fell apart, and he's never gotten it back. Campaigning is easy, governing is hard. Campaigning's easy, it's fun. Governing and making those things happen that you talk about, it's hard. And that's why most people don't follow through, because they don't want to put the time or the effort in. And, I'm hearing that interview, and then I'm thinking to myself, right? Like, you never realize how young and innocent you actually are until you're not that young and innocent anymore. And it's like this guy, I'm putting myself back in that moment. And it's like, I was anti-establishment in my orbit before there was anti-establishment. And they treated you like garbage, right? I went against all the order in the Republican Party. And I saw Trump and I was like, that dude is me. That guy talks the way I talk. He says the things I say. He's talking about the things I talk about. He's willing to say that the Republicans are not good. It was like finding someone to identify with. And it wasn't shtick back then with him. Like, now Trump is almost a caricature of himself. That felt real to me. And yeah, of course, he goes into I'm the best at this, I'm the best at that. Wharton, it's not easy to get in there to blah, 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 right? Of course he's going to do that. Yes, I was in the all-time most popular WrestleMania. I'm in the Hall of Fame. Yes, you're also best friends with Vince McMahon. That's why you're in the Hall of Fame. And of course he's doing that, right? That was his brand. But the actual core stuff, what's going on with the country, challenging the order, challenging the establishment, being a voice for you. If you guys are honest with yourself, do you really feel like the stuff Trump's doing now is a voice for you? Inflation's great. I love inflation. Oil, it's so cheap. Like, really? Do you really feel like Trump is in touch with you if you're being honest with yourself? And I'm not saying this to hate on Trump. I'm comparing and contrasting what you just heard with what you hear today. Look, he definitely got hardened. No doubt. I think he thought he was going to go in there and he was going to be a apprentice guy and everybody's going to go along with it. Like the campaign was dinner theater and then he's going to get in there and everybody's going to be on board. Because that's the way business works, right? Like there's a big show, there's a big tussle, there's a big back and forth, then everybody wants to make a deal because everybody wants money. The Democrats weren't that way. The Democrats wanted Trump's destruction, and I don't think, and it's weird because he's very astute, he's got great instincts, he wasn't ready for that. Certainly not what happened with the impeachments, certainly not what happened during the riots, certainly not what happened January 6th. He wasn't ready for any of that. The trials, none of it. And then I think, well, okay, I'm judging him for that, but maybe I just need to look in the mirror, right? If it's an accurate reflection, that's kind of me too, right? Like I was some local radio guy. Nobody at WIBC had ever heard of me. I'd never been in there. Like I had been in politics. I got out of politics. I got back into radio. And then back out, right? But I think about like, I'm pretty hardened now too. I'm pretty hardened now too. And I don't know that as I was listening to it, I was thinking about back to the day itself. Like the whole thing was crazy. Like, I mean, that interview gave me an opportunity to achieve so much. I earned everything I got after that because nobody worked harder. But that interview opened a lot of doors. And I'll forever be grateful to the Trump people for letting me do that and to him. But I think if you like, and I'll go into the day of the thing here in just a moment. But that guy was the guy I was enamored with as a politician. And really, it's a missed opportunity. Because in my mind, Trump was going to do the thing. He was going to win the election. And by the way, I was one of the few people from the beginning who were saying Trump's winning. I can remember all the establishment Republican people from the beginning. Oh, he's a clown. He's a joke. I was like, no, that guy's going to be the president. Oh, you don't get it. Blah, blah, blah. No. Trump's going to win. Like, I know people's. And one of the reasons I knew Trump was going to win the presidency, not just the nomination, when we went to that first rally, I saw people that I knew there who were non-political. I saw people I knew there that had voted Democrat in the past. And I was like, wow, if those people are there, if they're into this, those are the people he's going to need. I'll never forget this. The night of the first debate with the Indy Star hosted a forum. Like where We're going to bring in a handful of people. They're going to watch the debate, and then we're going to ask them, what they thought, right? And it's a whole bunch. It's like Democrats, establishment Republicans, and then Uncle Rob, right? And the first debate, everybody's saying, oh, Trump did horrible. And I'm watching this debate, and I'm like, no, you guys don't get it. Yeah, Hillary got him on the national stuff, but Trump was talking to a very select group of people in Pennsylvania, in Ohio, in Michigan, Wisconsin. And I got it. Like, I could see what he was doing. And they go to everybody. And everybody in that room, it's like a table full of people. And they're all, they go around. What do you think? Who won? And everybody, oh, Hillary won. She smoked him. It's over for Trump. And I said, Trump won that debate. And I remember those people. And I won't name some of the numb nuts that were there, but I remember them vividly laughing at me. And I said, you'll see. He's going to win, because he was talking not to the nation. He was talking to select people in select states that he needs to win. And he did. And he carried all of those states. I wish we still had that guy. That guy you heard in that interview, that's the guy that I was into. That's the guy that I was enamored with. That's the guy that I thought was going to fundamentally change this country for the better. And I think he got in there, and I think to some extent he got surprised and overwhelmed, and I think he lost focus. And then I think he went through all the stuff over the next 4 years while he was out of office with the trials and the impeachments and all that stuff. And I think he just came in this time on a revenge tour rather than on a battle for the American people. And it would be hard not to. Now, the interview itself. To this day, people still don't understand, how did you do that? Let me explain. So, as I said, when Trump came to Indiana, he was going to win, but the Trump people wanted to get it done quick, and they wanted to run up the score because they were worried about Cruz staging some sort of bull crap at the convention. They were very worried about Cruz, not Kasich. They didn't care about Kasich. They were worried about Cruz. And they said, we got to smoke this ding-dong so that he can't go out there and say, well, it was close. He can't be Ted Kennedy. The dream will never die. And remember, Cruz got squirrely during his convention speech and said, vote your conscience, and people started booing him. Remember that? Cruz was an ass, even though he got smoked. And people, that was the done of Ted Cruz. If he'd have gone out there and been gracious like a DeSantis or whatever, he would have been in a much better position than he is today. And he's just a guy now. People thought Cruz was going to be the guy. But they said, we believe Indiana can be it. And I had several friends that were players in Trump's campaign here in Indiana. Chief among them, Tony Samuel. And one of the issues with Trump was you could not what they call retail campaign. Retail campaigning is there's an event at a diner. Retail campaigning is phone banking. Retail campaigning is we're going to the county fair. And Cruz was running that traditional retail campaign. Remember going to see him in Plainfield. He was at the little mobile diner there in Plainfield on 40. Phone banking, all that stuff, right? Cruz could do that because there's security risk to some extent, but it's not Trump, right? The problem with Trump is he's like King Kong. You could put him in a Wendy's at 2 a.m. and 10,000 people will show up. You couldn't logistically do the things with Trump that other candidates would do that are very effective, especially in primaries. And so the Trump people were like, well, how do we do some semblance of retail campaigning? Like, how do we do something that resembles that with the parameters, the guardrails we have to put around Trump? And they said, well, what if we had somebody who does have heavy influence, a name in one of these counties that we need to win, that can get us some attention amongst sort of the grassroots, because a lot of the grassroots were Cruz people. And I said, what if we could do something with that person? And that kind of gets us some of the retail politicking. And they said, and Tony spoke up and said, well, Rob Kendall would be perfect for that. He's a massive Trump supporter. He has this popular local radio show. So at the time, on 98.9, which is the county radio station in Hendricks County, I was doing a nightly talk show. Now, it was just interviews. I would just interview different people, and it was politicians. It was such a cool show. I would love to bring that show back. It was called Central Indiana Today. It was so much fun. I don't know if I've ever had as much fun as I did doing that show each night, because it was I got back into radio. Like, I had the new passion. We would interview politicians. We would interview somebody from Trump to like a local parks director. It was so much fun. It was like a hodgepodge, and people loved it. Who are you getting today? It's like the grab bag of fun. And they said Rob has this very loyal audience that tunes into this county radio show. So as weird as that sounds, it's a great way to grassroots. You're going to get a lot of local people. It's Trump, so we'll get people on top of that anyway. And Rob still has, I'd just gotten out of politics. It was just gotten out of being an elected official. Rob has a lot of sway with the local political people. So let's use Rob. And so they come to me and they said, we're thinking about doing this. Would you be interested in doing this? Obviously, absolutely, right? And then you have to turn into like not badgering them about it, because they got to make it work. And so they tell me this a couple days ahead of time, and then there's nothing. And then there's nothing. And then there's nothing. And you recognize in your mind, right? You're like, holy smokes, if I get Trump and all the other people want Trump, this is going to be a big deal. And you hear nothing. The night before, and I'll never forget where I was when they called me and told me. I will never forget this. Like, it's like weird, in your life, like where things are just like, there's a picture, and it doesn't make, some things like, why is there this picture? That is one of those. Like, I remember it vividly. The moment they called me and said, it's tomorrow, can you do it? And I was like, no, I'm busy. Now, here's the crazy thing about all of this. The Democrats had their own primary going on, right? It was Bernie Sanders and Hillary. And remember, Bernie was still in the game. And so Hillary and Bernie there has never been a cooler time in Indiana politics and government than 2016. Never, and there never will be again. Ever. You had both primaries where the top guys were still in it. They were here. They were embedded here. It was awesome. And you had the U.S. Senate race going on, which, by the way, I was still working for Stutzman at that time, too. I was supposed to go do something for Stutzman. So that, tomorrow, the next day. So they call. It's like 6 p.m. They're like, we want you to do this interview. I forget exactly what time it was, maybe 10 in the morning, 9 in the morning, whatever. You got to be there at like 7:30 because it takes forever. And I'll get into that in a second. But they call, they say, can you do it? I said, absolutely. I was supposed to interview Ted Danson the next day because of Hillary. He was a Hillary supporter. We'd lined it up, the things in queue. Hey, we were interviewing Ted Danson. I was like, Ted Danson can go F himself. I'm going to Trump. I had to pass Ted Danson off onto Shane, the guy who ran the radio station. I was like, Shane, this is going to sound weird. I called him up. I was like, can you interview Ted Danson in the morning? He's like, sure, absolutely. The craziest part, you have to then call Ted Danson's people, explain what's going on, give him the new number. When I was sitting in there waiting for Trump to come into the room, phone rings. It's Hollywood, California. Hello? Hey, Rob, this is Ted Danson. I'm here to do my interview. Hey, Ted, you were awesome on Cheers. That show you're on where they're in purgatory and nobody knows it is great, too. But I'm sitting here with Trump. Here's the number to call. Tell George Wendt he was great, too. Thanks, goodbye. Ted Danson called me while I was sitting there waiting to interview Trump. It was the most hilarious thing ever. And so then, they say, hey, here's where you got to be. It was at the JW Marriott. I think it was the third floor he's going to be on. As I recall, they don't advertise Trump's there, right? It's his they'd taken over the floor. And their Secret Service and all this stuff. Am I going too long with this? All right. Because, like, there's no way to do this short. It's Friday, so we're having some fun, right? So they give you, like, the instructions. And it's this thing like, there will be no electronic transmission of this. This thing will self-destruct in 3 minutes. Be sure to write it down. And as I recall, there's a guy guarding the elevator. Like, we've been in the JW Marriott, there's an elevator. And there was, like, one elevator where they'd point out you go to. And you had to give the guy some sort of, like, password or something, because they don't advertise Trump's going to be on the third floor here, and they don't advertise he's staying there. And so you had to, like, give, as I recall, some sort of code or whatever. And so the night before, they call you, Hope Hicks, who became a famous figure in the Trump administration, called. She goes through all the rules, how it's all going to work. And the whole time you're going through all of this, getting ready, you're like, something's going to happen. There's no way I'm going to get this frickin' lucky to get this interview. He's going to, have some fundraiser. He's going to have something come up or press conference or whatever. So the whole time you're like, there's no way. There's no way this is going to happen. And you wake up the next morning, you go, you park, you show up, you go to the door. You're like, okay, was somebody playing a prank? You get there. And there's the guy standing at the elevator. Holy smokes, this is real. And I give him whatever the code or the phrase or whatever the thing was. Okay, right this way, sir. And you get on the elevator. And I think it was the third floor. And they take you up to the third floor. And you get off. And there's like this area where I think he did 5 interviews that day. It was me. I think it was a couple of the TV stations. The Daily Mail was there. Somebody else. And I was the only radio guy. So you get off the thing, and you're greeted basically by the Secret Service. By the way, those guys got zero sense of humor. No fun of any kind. Don't ever try to joke around with the Secret Service. And they put you in what they call like a staging area. They call it a pen. You take all your stuff in, you sit in there, it's you and the other guys. I think Kevin Rader, who was at THR, was there. I think Shella was one of the guys. And you're just sitting there. And they're like, all right, your radio, you're going to be the easiest to set up because TBS do all their own staging. You can go first. We'll let you go first. I'm like, oh, it's awesome. I'll be the first guy to get to push this stuff out. And at some point, when all the media guys are there, they're like, all right, everybody out, and they send in the bomb dogs. And the bomb dog, like, sniffs all the stuff and goes through everything. And then once, they find out there's no explosives or whatever, like, okay, you're good. And then they say, you go in. They're like, okay, you can go first. So Fox News, he was going to be on, I think it was Hannity that night. So Fox News had this big room on the third floor. They light it. They stage it. Doesn't matter to me, right? It's radio. And you get everything set up. And then I'm like sitting there like, oh, crap. I got to like do this interview, but I also got to produce my own stuff. Right? Like I didn't have a producer there. They were very strict on who you could bring. They were like, you're radio. You're a one guy, right? I was like, yeah, okay, cool. Don't bring anybody else. Don't tell anybody. And so I'm like, man, I hope all this equipment works. Like the night before. Jason will back me up on this. Like it's a panic. Like I got to bring 9 of this connector and 9 of that connector because your worst nightmare is you're going to get there and, oh, your mixer went out. As ours did this morning. And the whole time you're like, please, 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 please work. Well, then I'm getting ready to go. And there's this woman that's like the director or whatever. She's there. She lays out the rules. And she's very adamant. She's like, you have whatever the time was, 10 minutes. And she's like, at 9 minutes, we give you a signal, 1 minute. And then we give you 30 seconds. And then at 10 minutes, we give you another signal for 30 seconds. And if you're not done after the 30 seconds, after we give you that 10-minute signal, we'll just unplug your stuff. I remember that very vividly, them telling us, he's on a time schedule. We have to get the next people in. You're going first because you're radio. We will unplug your stuff and remove you. Like she was very direct about it. And I'm like, all right, hey, no problem. I know what I want to get to. So I thought you're keeping track. And then I was like, right before he comes down, I'm like, I don't have anyone to take a picture of this. Like I have an interview, right? Like I'm going to have the audio. And the Fox News guys, like the sound guys, the lighting guys, they were so cool. They're like, we will take the picture for you. We will take the pictures of you for you. And I was like, really? They're like, yeah. And the Fox News guys were like, we know what to look for with your computer. We'll keep an eye on it. Make sure the audios keep recording. You're good, man. That I remember that so good. Those guys did not have to do that. They were setting all this stuff up. I think it was Hannity was on that night. And they were super cool. Like, we'll watch the thing for you. Don't worry. And that made me feel so much better. And they took photos, which you guys have seen those over the years. And then, you do the interview, right? And I'm trying to be very cognizant. They give you the sign, okay, 1 minute, wrap it up, whatever. And you get done. And what I remember about this is before he comes down, I asked the lady, I was like, look, I'm not trying to be inappropriate here. What's the rule on asking for a photo with Trump? Like, I'm not going to ask for his autograph. That'd be weird. But I was like, I would love to get a photo, not just of interviewing him, but of with him. What's the etiquette? And I never forget this. She looks at me, she goes, here's how the photos work. You can ask. If he likes you, he will agree to take the photo. If he doesn't like you, he's going to be very angry. And she's like, it's your choice. You can do it if you want. Like, oh my gosh. Well, he can't, unless he takes my computer from me, he can't steal my audio. So I'm going to ask. So we get done with the interview, and he just keeps talking. And he's asking about me, like stuff about my life. Like, not about politics. He's obviously already done the interview. He has nothing to gain. He just sits there and keeps talking. And I can see this lady who's like the organizer or whatever she is. She's getting angry because she wants to move him on to the next person. And I'm looking at her like, you tell him. You tell him. I'm not going to tell him I got to go. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Future President. Your henchman over there is very angry because you're asking me about my existence. And I'll never forget one of the things he told me, because we were talking about, he's like, what do you want to do now? He's asking about what I did and then, doing this. And he's like, what do you want to do? And one of the things, and I've talked about this over the years that I'll never forget, is he told me, he said, you follow your dreams. He's like, you go for what matters to you. If you want to do it, you go do it. And that has always stayed with me. And I just candidly, it's one of the major reasons I didn't give up after IBC. I'm not done having the local conversations. I'm not done. I'm not done having a voice. I'm not done making a difference. And I believed in that, and I remember that very vividly. And so a lot of what we're doing here today is because of that, because a lot of people in this business, they get let go somewhere, they quit, or they go somewhere else. Not me. Not me. And so then, finally, whatever, there's like a pause, and she's basically trying to give him the signal, whatever their cadence is. Hey, you're taking too much time. And I said, Mr. Trump, I said, could I get a photo with you? And I will never forget this. I'm so nervous. I'm asking, Mr. Trump, can I get a photo with you? And he looks at me, and I'll never forget this. He looks at me and he smiles and he goes, absolutely. And he gets in there and we take that photo. You guys have probably seen him over the years, the photo of me and Trump, the shaking hands. And he was just so happy. He was so happy. And so the other thing, two other things, and then I'll get off because I know we got a bunch of other stuff to get to today. They bring the next guy in. He's a reporter. He's not a TV person. I think it was Daily Mail. And I remember I packed my stuff up, but nobody makes me leave. And I'm like, shouldn't somebody kick me out of here? And so I'm so torn because I got to load this thing, right? I've got an interview with Trump. I've got to go load this thing. I've got to show it to the people, but nobody's making me leave. And I'm right next to Trump and I'm watching him do this interview. And this is the coolest thing ever. And so I sat there for about 5 minutes and watched him do this interview with this guy. And it was hilarious because he wasn't having any of this guy. The interview he did with me, and then he gets annoyed. And I will never forget this. The guy's kind of being a jerk back to him. But I think it's the relationship he had. He had been interviewed by the guy before. It wasn't they needed an introduction. Oh, that's the other thing. One other thing. And then I'll come back to the Daily Mail guy. You set your stuff up in this room, and Trump's not there, right? They say he'll be down in a minute. And you just sit in this room in silence. Like it's it's not a ballroom, but it's like a room you would have like a luncheon in or something because Fox News is using it. So you're sitting in this massive room by yourself, just me and the roadie guys, the tech guys. And you hear the elevator, right? You know it's him because nobody else will be coming to this floor. You hear the elevator, and it's like The Apprentice. Ding! And you can hear him walking down the hall, and he's got the guys behind him, right? Like the minions. It's just like The Apprentice when he walks into the room. And the thing that I remember about this, two things. One is, he walks up, they tell him, Rob Kendall, WYRZ Radio, Indianapolis. And he walks up, and he's a giant. Trump is a giant. Not just like he's tall. He's a giant like he's a wide human. You feel like you're just like a little kid next to him. Now, I'm short anyway, right? But I think Trump's like 6'4". He's huge. He's massive. And he walks up, and he looks down at me. Hello, nice to meet you. Let's get going. Not, what do you want? And they never asked me what I want to talk about. They never asked me for questions. They never asked me for topics. I was like, and that stood out to me, was like the confidence of this guy. Everybody's out to get him. He has no idea who I am. Hello, nice to meet you. Let's get going. And I wish I had kept this, and I don't know why I deleted it. When he sits down, so we're in these chairs. You can see the photos. I've posted them over the years of me interviewing him. And I said, hey, because the Fox News guys were going to watch the levels. I'm like, Mr. Trump, I need to get a level check on you just to make sure my levels are good because I can't see this once I start. And he sits down and he grabs the microphone, and I am so mad that I deleted this because it's hilarious. He goes, hello, Donald Trump. Check 1, 2. Check, check, check. Am I on? Trump 1, 2. Hello. And I wish I had kept it, and I don't know why I deleted it. I think I was trying to get everything ready, and I was just hurrying to get the thing up. It was hilarious, but he was so confident. He never asked me what I was going to talk about, and I've never seen that. I'm talking local politicians, anything. What do you want to talk about? And all of that just came off the top of his head. Now, the Daily Mail guy. So the Daily Mail guy, I'll never forget this. I'm sitting there watching this, and the Daily Mail's guys going at him with it a little bit. And finally, Daily Mail, I don't know why he goes, can you tell me a joke? And Trump just glares at him and goes, no, I'm not telling you a joke. Move on. Oh my gosh, he's going to get up and just strangle this guy. And so you go back to the pen, the media pen where they had the bomb dogs and everything. The other guys are sitting in there who haven't gone yet to do their interviews, the TV people. They went last. And the Daily Mail guy comes back out. And he comes back in the pen. He's starting to write his story, whatever. And he goes, oh my gosh, Trump just asked me to go to, I think it was South Bend tonight. He's having a rally in South Bend. I'm sitting there loading my stuff. I'm just about done. And he goes, oh my gosh, Trump asked me to go to South Bend with him tonight. And he goes, I got a hotel here, but I got to cancel it. He goes, he asked me to go on the plane with him. He said I'd go on the plane with him because I got to go cancel my reservation. I got to get my story loaded. I'll be back. This is great. And there's a guy sitting at the computer, and I think I know who it was now, but it may have not been him, so I'm not going to name him, but he's a very prominent person in the Trump administration who became known later. He was a behind-the-scenes guy who became known later. And the guy's sitting there at the computer, and this guy runs off. It's like out of a sitcom, right? Like, oh, you won't believe my good fortune. Look at what happened to me. I got to go cancel my hotel reservation, and I got to fly the plane. And the guy's sitting there, and he's pecking away at his laptop, and he looks up at me, and he makes sure the guy's out of, earshot. And he goes, he ain't getting on that plane. And I said, well, Trump just invited him. He goes, Trump don't make that call. I make that call. Trump ain't even going to remember he said that. And he said, but the guy just said, he goes, I can't remember exactly. He said, yeah, we don't like him. Or something. They were basically letting him do it because he's a pain in the ass and they don't want to deal with him. And they were letting him go cancel his flight. And that guy doesn't have a hotel now. And he thinks he's getting on the plane. He ain't getting on that plane. And I'll never forget that. But I was like, but Trump don't make that call. I make that call. And then there was an instinct of me like, well, if you make the call, that Trump really liked me. Chance I can get on that flight with you. No, because I don't know if it was him for sure, and I think it was Corey Lewandowski. But I don't know that for sure. And by the way, Lewandowski was great to us later. He did an interview, he did a liner, did all sorts of stuff with us. He was awesome later. But I don't know that for sure. Anyway, there you go, guys. I know I went long with that, but we talk about it for years and years and years, and I thought guys would love to just know the backstory on it and all that stuff. So there you go. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro. Father's Day. It is right around the corner. It's a week from Sunday. And if you want to do something different for Dad, they've got an amazing brunch buffet planned for Father's Day. Honeysuckle Hill Bistro. Little out of the way, in Brazil, on the water, scenic view, outdoor seating, great chance to get away, spend some time with Dad, and have a fabulous meal. Let me lay out the buffet. It's a brunch buffet at the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro in Brazil on Father's Day. Fried Atlantic cod, pork burger sliders, pasta salad, corn on the cob, kick and baked beans, Dolly's potato salad, peach cobbler a la mode, and a non-alcoholic drink. It is all part of the Father's Day brunch buffet at the Honeysuckle Hill Bistro. They do require reservations for this one. So you can either reserve online, just Google Honeysuckle Hill Bistro, or call today, 812-443-3003. 812-443-3003. It would be an amazing experience for Dad if you're looking to do something different and have a great meal. Honeysuckle Hill Bistro, 812-443-3003. All right, let's take a break. Coming up in just a little bit, we'll do the Pence. Do you want to do the Pence interview? Yeah, me being nice to Pence and Holcomb. It was before Pence got picked to vice president, all this stuff. It's the same year. It was almost right after I did the interview with Trump. Like, I think it was within days of it. And Pence was governor. He's running for re-election. Holcomb was the lieutenant governor guy at the time. So we'll play that later. But when we come back, the state treasurer went at Micah Beckwith yesterday. It was awesome. It was awesome. We'll tell you about it when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties. I would love to get to know you. I know that buying and selling a home is a really big deal. You need a plan in place so you can succeed. And that's where I come in. If you are buying, let me help you find that perfect home. And if you are selling, let me help you find that perfect buyer. Look, we're all Rob Kendall Show fans here. That's why I'd love to get to know you. I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties, an Army veteran and a Hoosier through and through. Call me at 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Happy Friday. Thanks for joining us. If you like what we're doing here today, you can really help us out. Hit that thumbs up button and help us grow this program. The likes, the shares, the subscribes, it's how we keep going with this great little all local, kind of goofy podcast about Indiana politics, news, and government that you can't get anywhere else. Before we talk about what the state treasurer said yesterday about the lieutenant governor, let me remind you about our fabulous friends. Great sponsor of the show, Seal Now. If your driveway's showing signs of wear, freeze-thaw cycles, road salts, environmental buildup like mold and dirt, it can all cause serious damage to your outdoor concrete structures. I'm talking driveways, talking sidewalks, talking patios. You know what I'm talking about here, guys. And that's where Seal Now comes in. If your driveway, your patio, your sidewalk, if it had been blown to smithereens, call Seal Now, the clean, seal, and stain professionals. They'll get it looking like new again. And Seal Now does more than just concrete. They also do wood. So your fences, your decks, your pergolas, you name it. If it's an outdoor wood or concrete structure, Seal Now can bring it back to life. Seal Now, the clean, seal, and stain professionals. Check them out, sealnow.com. See some of their work at sealnow.com, what your project might look like. Get a free estimate. And best of all, you mentioned, hey, heard about you on the Rob Kendall show. You're going to get 20% off any long-term ceiling project. 20% off any long-term ceiling project by visiting sealnow.com and mention you heard about them on the Rob Kendall show. All right. Okay. So yesterday, and by the way, getting our information today from the Indiana Capital Chronicle as well as Indy Politics. There was a group of prominent state leaders from both parties, and most notable among them was Indiana State Treasurer Daniel Elliott. There was also multiple state senators that were there of both parties, and they joined with religious leaders in the Indiana Statehouse yesterday to condemn faith-based discrimination. And this was as a response to Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith. And what this goes back to are comments that Beckwith made on a podcast in May in which he declared, quote, "I hate Islam. It's a demonic death cult." He went on to say, "Now, I love Muslims because they make great Christians when Jesus gets a hold of them, but I hate Islam, and we need to be okay with hating again." Now, we're about to talk about this, but I want to preface it by saying something. These guys, when they do these things like these rallies, and I'm doing this segment hopefully as a cautionary tale, they're playing into Beckwith's hands. When these guys, when there's 10 million comments on his Facebook stuff, of hate, it's what he wants. When you do these rallies, it's what he wants. He craves attention. The lieutenant governor craves attention. He doesn't care if it's positive. He doesn't care if it's negative. He doesn't care if he's uniting. He doesn't care if he's dividing. He doesn't care. And it's never, if you guys notice, it's never about policies that are about the state of Indiana. He's never getting the negative attention about bringing the smoke on stuff that will help you. And Elliott's a little different because Elliott is a power player, and him saying it carries more weight, so it's a little different. I'm going to tell you what Elliott said in a minute, because that's a big deal. But these guys, and everybody needs to know, because I know Micah Beckwith, when you comment on his stuff, the hate you bring on him for acting like a moron, you are giving him what he wants. Because Micah Beckwith has no interest in actually bringing smoke or going to work or fighting for policies in the state of Indiana, which he was elected to do, that solve real problems you're facing. He has no interest in it. He's not mentally capable of coming up with solutions. He's admitted it to me. Guys, when Micah Beckwith was elected lieutenant governor at that convention, it was primarily because of property taxes. People wanted property taxes fixed. They didn't trust Braun. Braun didn't have a plan at the time, and they said, we're going to elect this guy, and he's going to be the check and balance. He's going to be the voice. He's going to be the smoke. That's what it was about. I talked to a whole bunch of people. Beckwith didn't win by much. I talked to a whole bunch of people on the floor that day, and they told me that. I was there. That was the reason he was elected. People wanted property taxes fixed. Braun didn't even have a plan to them. Remember, Braun and I got into it at the convention. There was it was impromptu. He walked by. I was out in the lobby. I yelled, "Hey, Mike." And he walked over, and people remember there was a big crowd around us, and we got into it. I mean, it was peaceful. It was fine, but it was pretty spirited. Went on for about 5 minutes. A bunch of people were there. And it was about him not having a plan on property taxes. It was about a plan on him not putting anything forward that was actually going to help people. And then they were all arrogant. They thought that what's-her-face was going to win. And they were doing the thing of, well, we'll have a conversation after the convention. And I was like, yeah, we are, because I knew Mike was going to win that convention. I talked to enough people. I knew what was going down. Now, I knew it was going to be close, but I knew he was going to win. Micah Beckwith was elected to be the check and balance, to bring the smoke, to fix property taxes. What happened with property taxes? Braun put forward a bad deal. Micah disappeared. Remember that? Remember Braun announces he's signing the deal? I was in the room when Braun told me he was going to sign the deal. And you know what Micah did? No, you can't see me on the YouTube, or I mean on the Apple, the Spotify. But if you head over to YouTube, what am I doing right now? I'm nodding my head. This is what he did the whole meeting. Right here. That's where he got the name, Bobblehead Beckwith. Not a word to be said. He kept doing this. And I kept looking at him when I'm going at it with Braun in this meeting at State Party headquarters, like, would you like to speak the hell up here and tell him? And then remember, he disappeared. He went days without saying anything. And then he shows up on Hammer and Nigel. And he gives this ridiculous response that appears that he supports the plan. You guys went ballistic on him. Then he announced he didn't support the plan. And finally, on a Saturday, he calls me. I think it was a Monday or Tuesday. Braun announced he was making the deal. And I'm like yelling at him about this. Like, people voted for you to be a check and balance on this. We knew this guy was going to pull this crap. Where are you? And he admitted to me. He goes, I don't know property tax like you do. Not everybody's you, Rob. I said, what do you mean not everybody's me? You were elected on this. And that's when I realized it was all smoke and mirrors. He never, ever was interested in actual public policy. He's interested in himself. He ran on something and he knew nothing about it. Absolutely nothing. And so when you have a guy who doesn't have the mental capacity, which he essentially admitted that day to me, to solve issues, which property taxes are hard. You'd think if somebody runs on them that they would be able to fix it, since they said they wanted to fix it. And then when you factor in that Micah is very lazy, which he is, he's very lazy. What does he do all day? He's not going to get attention by trying to solve problems. He's lazy and he's mentally incapable of solving problems. So he can't get the attention he craves by putting forward solutions to issues that help you. He's not going to do that. And look, if you guys want to not believe me, what is the first thing that happened to Micah Beckwith when he was elected lieutenant governor? The legislature and the governor, in an agreement with Micah, they took away all his power. They took away all his power. He didn't fight it. He didn't object to it. He was fine with it. The lieutenant governor under Skillman, under Crouch, had all sorts of authority and power. The legislature and Braun took it from him. And he didn't say a word because he wasn't interested in doing any work for you. He doesn't care. We were yelling. Erin Sheridan, you can ask her, she was yelling at him at the time. Why are you letting them do this? You're losing your ability to help people, to have a voice to help people, because he didn't want to work. And so saying all that, Micah then had a big problem. He can't stand not being the center of attention. He can't stand not being the center of attention. He can't stand not being the star. He cannot stand people not looking at him. He doesn't care if the attention is positive or negative. It would be fascinating for a psychiatrist to evaluate Micah Beckwith. I would be enthralled with that. I've never seen anything like it. He just wants attention. And so now that he can't get attention, because everybody in the Statehouse thinks he's a complete joke, and obviously he's giving away all his power, so nobody has to give him attention because they want anything. The only way he can get the attention that he craves is to say things that will get him attention. Inflammatory things that people will talk about. Not inflammatory things like we do here to get better policy for you. Not fight with people over issues like, property taxes, utility bills, the corruption at the IEDC, the tolling, the billions in tolling, giving away billions to megacorps like the Bears. Not any of that, which you notice. Where is he? Does he fight on any of that? Not a word. Not a word. What does he do? He goes after things that he knows will get him attention. And these guys at the Statehouse, with the exception of Elliott, are giving him what he wants. Elliott's different because Elliott's got some sway, and I'll talk about Elliott in a second and what he said at this event. But these events, the comments on Facebook, all the stuff, it's what he wants. Micah Beckwith wants to be famous. That's it. That's all he wants. He craves attention. I mean, truthfully, he wants to be a reality television star. Micah Beckwith believes he'll be a reality television star. That's why he hired a guy by the name of Jeff Boggs to be his comms director. By the way, Micah has 3 comms people. He does nothing, but he has 3 comms people. We did the math on it one day. What was it, like $272,000 or something like that in just comms people? It's some crazy number, plus benefits. But Micah Beckwith's communications director is a guy by the name of Jeff Boggs. Jeff Boggs was a writer for Letterman and a reality TV show guy. He has no anything that you would go, this guy would be the perfect dude to be a comms director for a lieutenant governor's office. And of course, Boggs became the comms director after a guy by the name of Jim Kehoe, good dude, abruptly quit. Maybe someday Jim will talk about that with people, about why he quit that office so quickly. I hope he does someday because he's a good guy. He's a good guy, and he tried to help Micah. And I think his story would be very interesting to people about why he quit and why he got replaced with Jeff Boggs, whose accomplishments were he was a writer for Letterman and a reality TV show producer. Micah wants to be a reality show star. Everything he does is about give me attention. Because with reality TV, it don't matter if the attention's good or bad, right? Most of the people on reality TV are complete a-holes. That's what this is all about. He's using the office for his next thing. That's why the controversial statements he makes they're about things with sex or religion. Because it will get him attention. Oh man, what did he say now? I hate that guy. That's what he's doing. You notice it's never controversial statements about policy that helps you. There's nothing about what he said about hating Islam or hating Muslims that's going to help you. There's no policy in front of him that's going to, or the legislature that's going to help you. Nothing. Now, if he'd have made the statement about, I hate local assessors that are screwing people on property taxes, all right, we got a ball game. Or I hate legislators that keep emboldening utility companies to skyrocket your rates. Okay, got a game. It's never that. You guys notice that? It's never that. When he made that statement about the 3/5 compromise, the bill that he was talking about had already passed when he made the statement. There was nothing to be gained by you, the taxpayer. It wasn't like, man, the legislature's holding this up. These guys are ridiculous. He didn't need to juice the bill. He didn't need to juice public attention. He already got his way. He sprinted down there and made that comment because he wanted attention. That's why he does what he does. So when you guys have these events, you're playing into his hands. You're giving him what he wants. You're giving him what he wants. One of the other reasons he does this, and it's a shame, Braun's pathetically weak. I mean, IndyStar had an article about how Jim Banks is just stealing the Republican Party from Braun right now. And he's right. The writer was correct. Banks is stealing the Republican Party from Braun. Why? Because Banks knows what Micah knows. Braun's a wimp. He's a disgustingly pathetic, risk-averse wimp. And Braun believes that if he angers Micah, he's going to lose the Turning Point people. And they've got Braun convinced that the Turning Point USA people are the golden ticket with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And so Braun, I mean, look at this quote. He got asked about this. All this guy does, Micah Beckwith, is create headaches for Braun, which I'd be okay with if they were headaches that were policies that helped us, policies that made life more affordable. They're not. Tell me one time Beckwith's created a headache for Braun since he's been lieutenant governor on policies that help the taxpayer. I'll wait. They're always stuff like this. Here was Braun's response. Braun, according to the Capitol Chronicle, Braun told reporters earlier this month that Beckwith was, quote, was making a point that he probably regrets making in that fashion because it's taken away from the essence. No, he doesn't. He doesn't regret it at all, Braun. He doesn't care about essence or policy or any of it. He cares about himself. He's lining up his next job. He's wholly unqualified to work a real job. I mean, look at where he preaches. Everyone essentially has left but him. Look at who he works for. The guy who covered up his son being a hyper-dangerous child predator. Hid it from the church. Let him in the church where little kids were present. Made all the sex videos of himself. That's Micah's boss. Everyone else, including Nathan's brother-in-law, see ya. Including Nathan's brother-in-law, see ya. That's where Micah works because he's unemployable. So he's using this position as lieutenant governor, our tax money. It's why he has 3 comms people. It's why he hired Jeff Boggs. You're paying for Micah Beckwith's next endeavor, or what he wants to be his next endeavor. And for Braun to say this, grow a pair, Braun. Everybody knows you hate the guy. Everybody knows you know what he is. Just say it. Braun wanted to say, if there's a religion that is using violence to do things that doesn't make sense to most religions, saying it in a way that brings up a word like hate, you probably just lost the impact of the point you were trying to make. No, he didn't. He wasn't trying to fix anything. He wasn't trying to make anything better. He wasn't trying. It wasn't about, I don't even know what Micah Beckwith actually believes. He's such a con man and a shyster. I'm not even sure when you go to the religion side of it, he believes the stuff. He believes in attention for himself. And look, I share blame in this. I bought the BS. I'm the victim in the American Greed episode. Except instead of taking money, he took my dignity. I wanted property taxes fixed for you guys. It was the charge of my life. It's what I did when I was an elected official. It's what I did great when I was elected official. I so believe that you own your home and the government should stay out of it that I was willing to do whatever. And you guys know for a year and a half I did whatever. And this guy came to me and said, I want it, man. I want to get in there. I want to be a fighter. I want to battle. I want to fix this too. And I obviously saw the guy who was going to be the governor had no desire to do it. Remember, Braun never mentioned property taxes until he got out of the primary, really until after the convention. The woman he was nominating, he wanted to be his lieutenant governor, wasn't going to do it. I mean, in the end, nothing's really lost here, right? It wouldn't have got any better had the other woman won. But I've been victim to it, guys. I've seen it up front. I've seen it firsthand. He doesn't care about the impact. The only impact he wants is for himself. Now, Micah then did. So the governor says this, right? The governor gives him a lifeline. Run, Dad. I wouldn't have said it that way. He'll have to figure out how to get around it because that's probably not what he intended to do. No, that's exactly what he intended to do. Because everybody's talking about him, and he doesn't care if people hate him because he's not going to be able to win any more public offices. He knows that. The mistake I made was believing Micah wanted to elevate, he would want to elevate himself up the political ladder to do good for people. He doesn't. He doesn't care. He knows there's no path to being the governor. There's no path to him being a senator. There's no path to him being the lieutenant governor. The Republicans are not going to let him win at a convention again. He knows this is it. He's got 4 years to make his point. And that's what he's doing. And his point is not for us. You would think if you had 4 years to make a point, you would spend it on stuff for the people who invested in you to get you elected. But it's not. Braun totally gives him a lifeline there. And then what does Micah do? He laughs right in his face and doubles down. Here's Micah's response. I love and support all groups of people who come to our country legally and assimilate to our culture. Sharia law does the exact opposite of that and promotes the destruction of our country, our constitution, and our way of life. I will never apologize for saying United States of America is now and always should be one nation under God. Who in Indiana is proposing Sharia law? Where is this at? Hello? You're the lieutenant governor of Indiana, a-hole. You know where people are getting screwed? Property taxes. 100 referendums across the state, including in Micah's own home city of Noblesville this year. Big one. I can't wait. I hope that thing passes. Double it on his property. He's not out fighting for those people across the state or even in his own home city. He's not challenging the IURC for utility bills. He's not challenging Braun on the plan to raise taxes by $6.5 billion on I-70 or funnel $700 million of tax increases on I-80 to the Bears. He's not challenging Braun about not cleaning up the IEDC. He's on board with it. Beckwith's on board now with giving all the money. All the money. He's on board with it. He literally ran against the IEDC. Called it, I think, a shadow quasi-government operation or shadow government operation in the debate. I was like, oh, this is awesome. It's why I've just stepped away from the whole thing. I vote. I'll tell you who I vote for. I don't support, and I will not support ever again. I'll tell you who I vote for. Because I think I want to encourage people to vote. And maybe that encourages participation. No more. I mean, this guy said all the stuff, right? But he's not sorry. He's not sorry. He could be using this time to help us. He was elected to help us. So here's where Daniel Elliott comes into this. Because one of Micah's big supporters, who has a vested interest in Micah continuing to do well, I'm not going to say his name, because this guy also craves negative attention. I'm not even going to say his name, posted some very derogatory things about Mormons. Now, this person doesn't wipe his own butt without having permission of the internal Beckwith power structure to do it. So it's laughable to think that wouldn't be affiliated in some way with Beckwith or us. And they were incredibly negative things about Mormons. Now, you can say whatever you want about the Muslims. Are the Mormons, are they proposing Sharia law? Are the Mormons storming the streets? Are the Mormons enacting violence on the masses? Are the Mormons beheading people? Like, is there some issue with the Mormons that I wasn't aware of? Somebody let me know if somebody could point me to some big headline recently about Mormons doing some heinous acts against the communities in which they live. The answer is they're not. It was spewing of hate for the sake of spewing of hate. Now, look, there are serious issues with people in various cities in our country and across the world with Islamic radicals, right? That is an issue. But Islamic radicals are not all Muslims. I know Abdul. I've been around Abdul for 15 years. I've never once felt threatened in the presence of Abdul. The same way as Micah, not all Christians would cover up finding out that their son is a hyper dangerous child predator and then let him back in the church around little kids. Right? There are issues with people in every religion. We deal with them. We should take Islamic radicalism serious, but there are many fine people who are of the Muslim faith. The same way as there are many fine people who are of the Mormon faith. Now look, if you want to think the Mormon religion, the South Park had a great Mormon episode. It's fabulous, right? If you want to think the Mormons are a little wacky, okay. Every other religion thinks every other religion's a little wacky. That's fine. But there's no imminent threat from the Mormons, of which Daniel Elliott is a member of the LDS. Daniel Elliott is a fine person. Now, I'm mad at Elliott about him not doing anything about Diego and then having the audacity to come out and go, I demand Diego Morales resign. And I told Elliott that, and Elliott and I have talked about it. We've had a spirited conversation. We talked about that this morning, in fact, offline. And I'm sure he won't mind me sharing that because he's coming in here in the near future for us to talk about it in front of you guys after the convention. And I'm not going to change that, but Daniel Elliott, I've never said he's not a fine guy. He's a fine guy. Now, Elliott speaking out about Beckwith, which that's who he's talking about here, is a little different than the rest of these guys because Elliott has rock-solid conservative bona fides. He is liked in the conservative movement. He's a good dude. He is not a radical leftist. Look, I guess I did know Daniel Elliott was part of LDS, but I never hear him talk about it. It's not like he's out there professing it to the masses. He's kind of living his life like the way people should. You have your faith. I have mine. You live your life to the best of your ability. It's what we talked about with Rust the other day, and we talked about with the Pride Month stuff. I don't care if you're gay. I don't hold it against you. I don't dislike you because of it. I'll be your friend. Don't throw it in my face. You sleep with who you want to sleep with. You engage in relationships with who you want to engage with. I'll do mine, and well, points of commonality, we can be buddies, we can hang out, we can whatever. And I'm that way with every person. The same way as there's a lot of people, I don't want to hear about your Broad Ripple 2 conquest. Don't care. She wasn't hot. Right? So Elliott speaking out is different. Because Elliott hopefully speaks to it. Look, Fatty Cadora and those guys, they don't speak to people that can hopefully put a stop to this. This insanity from the lieutenant governor's office. And no one will do anything about it. No one will do anything about it. And so Elliott's comments carry a little bit more weight. He's a little different. Here's what Elliott said yesterday at this event at the Statehouse. Here's what history teaches us. First, we say it's okay to hate Muslims, then the Hindu, then the Jew, and then they tell Christians to stay quiet. It isn't about you, he said, according to the Capitol Chronicle. But then one day you wake up and you're not the right flavor of Christian, and suddenly it is you. If we start saying it's okay to start hating the Muslim or the Jew or the Hindu or any other faith, pretty soon we start to say you're not the right flavor of Christianity and it's okay to hate you too. Right. Butt out. There are radicals in the Islamic religion, of the Muslim religion, the Islamic radicals that need to be dealt with. Absolutely. But Micah Beckwith didn't say that because that's what he wants. He said that to get attention. We have to start on our side of the aisle acknowledging when people are idiots. We didn't do it with Diego Morales. Well, Some of us did with Diego Morales. And for years, people like me screamed about Diego. And you know what we were told? Sit down and shut up. We were called all the names. And then what happened? We were proven correct. All the people that were Team Diego, right? Oh, he's a good guy. Oh, the shock jock's just looking for clicks. What'd they ultimately end up doing? Saying we were exactly right. I believe scandals, plural, was the phrase Todd Rokita used. I believe liar was the phrase, well, lied to was the phrase Jim Banks used. One of the things about this show is we are where the people are. And none of the politicians have been able to figure it out about why, whatever platform we end up on, we make it work. We meet the people where they are. And the people, many of them conservative, many of them liberty-minded people who tune into this program every day, are sick of both sides, the BS on both sides. They're sick of the glorified dinner show at their expense. They're sick of their tax money being used and abused. They're sick of them being treated like the enemy. They're sick of being belittled, not listened to. And they're sick of their money propping up idiots. When bad people behave badly, we should address it, even when it's on, quote unquote, our side of the aisle. And we should do it on the other side. We keep letting these people get away with it. And the party keeps tumbling, spiraling further and further away from what it should be, which is a party that's of low taxes and limited accountable government for the people. This is why I want the Republicans to go down so bad in that Secretary of State's race this fall, because that will send the message. That will send the message that you guys are done with it. You're done with Diego. You're done with Micah. You're done with the shenanigans. You're done with the never-ending tax increases, the growth of government, the giving of your money away to the uber rich, the uber connected, giving your money away to corporations that bring in the foreign workers. That's what you're sick of. That's what you're done with. And the best way to send that message, the only way to send that message, is this fall in that Secretary of State's race. Just remember that as we go through the next several months. Remember that. All right, one thing else to remember. When you're going to buy or sell your home, trust a trained professional that is ready to get to work for you. Lauren Wilson, realtor at Properties. She knows selling your home can be a massive transition. The buying, the selling, getting the right price on the home you got, getting a better price on the home that you want to buy. Put a pro to work for you. Who's your lifer? Military vet. Lauren Wilson, realtor with At Properties. 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. Put Lauren Wilson to work for you. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll play the Pence interview. All right. When we were going through all this stuff for Trump to get that Trump interview ready, I found in the rabbit hole, in the caverns of the audio archives, an interview. It was like days, I think, after I'd interviewed Trump. I did an interview with then Governor Mike Pence and Lieutenant Governor Eric Holcomb. And I also have not heard this thing in close to 10 years. So I don't even remember what we talked about. I was like, Jason, don't play it for me. We'll pull it, we'll load it, it'll be great. Oh, and the photos. The photos also put out by producer Jason. I'll tell you when we come back about those. We'll play the interview. We come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on the Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Are you seeing cracks in mortar, moisture working through walls, facade or structural failure beginning to surface? Bramwell Mackay sets the standard for exterior and structural building solutions. Our 40-year master masons and industry experts address moisture intrusion, failing foundations, masonry deterioration, and more. From preserving historic landmarks to addressing modern building envelope issues, Bramwell Mackay delivers full-spectrum service with white-glove professionalism. In Indianapolis, call 812-33-BRICK. 812-33-BRICK.
Your bathroom fan could be secretly costing you thousands of dollars in damages. Most people don't even know this until the damage is done. With over 18 years of bathroom remodeling experience, here are 3 signs your fan is failing you without spending a dime on inspections. Sign number 1 is if you have foggy mirrors after you shower. This shows that your fan isn't pulling out enough moisture, which creates the perfect environment for mold. If you have a properly functioning bathroom fan that is the right size for your space, you shouldn't see much fogginess on your bathroom mirror at all. Sign number 2 is if you have bubbling, cracking, or peeling paint in your bathroom. This means moisture is soaking into your walls, slowly breaking down drywall, and even causing the wood framing behind it to rot. Sign number 3 is if you have mold buildup on your fan, ceilings, or walls. This is terrible for your health, but also could wreck your bathroom, costing you a fortune. If you're noticing any of these signs, here's what you can do.
Call Vent Savvy today at 317-300-4434. That's 317-300-4434 and mention Rob for a free attic inspection. It's the Rob Kendall Show. It's Friday. We're having a little bit of fun here. So, of course, we played that Trump interview earlier. And when we were digging in, because I got to get the audio ready for that. I was digging through the archives. I was like, holy smokes. Here's an interview from my same show, my Central Indiana Today show from 2016. I'm looking at the date. I think it was May of 2016, which was right after I interviewed Trump. And I'm like, I interviewed Mike Pence. And I pulled it up and I interviewed Pence and Holcomb. Holcomb's on this too. And then I realized they were having some sort of, then like your brain starts working again, right? Like I've interviewed so many people over this. Like, when did I do this? And then I realized this was before Pence had been named the vice presidential candidate. He was running for governor. He was running against John Gregg. And a lot of people thought Gregg was going to win that election, which he probably was. And they were opening some sort of like Republican headquarters in Danville. And so they invited me out. They said, hey, Rob, do you want to come out and do the interviews? Now, again, this is 10 years ago. And the show that I did, so I want to clarify for you guys, the show that I did, not like the show we do now. It was a county radio station. They let me have opinions, but it really was not like an opinion-based show. It was a nightly interview show. And I loved it, man. I'd love to do an interview show again. I thought that was so much fun. I love interviewing people. I love interviewing. Now, the problem is the people I interview are not nearly as entertaining as me. So I'm usually not willing to give up like a ton of real estate to other people. But if you had a show that was set up just for interviews, like a separate show, I would love to do that. I get as much or more joy out of interviewing people as doing this. I think people are fascinating. But I wanted to preface that, again, it's like 10 minutes. I have no idea what's on here. I don't even remember what I asked him, what we talked about. But you guys will be like, well, why? I'm sure I was not like bringing smoke on this interview. I'm sure I can't imagine. Maybe I was. I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of Pence back then either. But we found this and I was like, man, this will be fascinating to hear what I said, what I did. So it is Pence, it's Holcomb, and it's Karen Pence. And this is before Holcomb was the governor. So I didn't have any beef with Holcomb back then. Other than I was like, oh, a little squirrely that you were third in a U.S. Senate race, and all of a sudden you ended up lieutenant governor. That's pretty wild. Good on you, buddy. Life's lottery was thrown your way, right? All right, so I have no idea what's on this. We'll listen to it together. Here is I believe this was May of 2016, my interview with Mike Pence, Eric Holcomb, and Karen Pence.
This is Central Indiana Today on 98.9 WYRZ. I'm Rob Kendall, the host of the show. Thanks for joining us. And on the program today, we begin with a very special group of guests, including Governor Mike Pence, Lieutenant Governor Eric Holcomb, and First Lady Karen Pence. The trio were in Danville for the opening of the Victory Center for the Hendricks County Republican Party. We had a chance to sit down with them and talk about the race thus far and talk about the past 4 years leading Indiana. Here's that conversation. Well, we have the privilege of speaking with Governor Mike Pence, the First Lady, Mrs. Karen Pence, and Lieutenant Governor Eric Holcomb in Danville today for the opening of the Victory Center for the Hendricks County Republican Party. Mr. Governor, thanks for being with us.
Hey, great to be here. Great to be at the Victory Center, and what an enthusiastic crowd. We kicked off in Speedway this morning. Our Start Your Engines tour will be ending tonight in LaPorte, Indiana, and for the next 4 days, we're going to actually have to stop a couple of times to cut some ribbons and break some ground on some good Hoosier jobs, but it's really exciting to see the enthusiasm.
Now, this guy right here, Mr. Holcomb, he is like high energy all the time. Do you ever tell him, like, calm down?
He's not a low energy guy. He's actually pretty hard to keep up with. Look, I want to say this from my heart, and we had an outstanding lieutenant governor elected with us. Sue Ellspermann is a dear friend and did a great job. I continue to be hopeful that she'll be leading the state's largest institution of higher education at Ivy Tech very soon. We're very hopeful she'll have that opportunity. But for someone of Eric Holcomb's background, his experience in helping two different administrations over the last 12 years, his service in the Navy, his service for members of Congress and the Senate. I just really am profoundly grateful that he stepped forward to lead Indiana as lieutenant governor, and he's a hard man to keep up with.
Mr. Lieutenant Governor, you get the call from the man, and you had a career you were pursuing yourself. You were doing very well running for United States Senate. What's that call like? And do you go, I'm going to think about it? Do you say yes right away? How's that happen?
Actually, I said yes in about a nanosecond, and I really did. And it was an easy decision to make, and my wife was enthusiastically supportive, and she had known him not as long as I did. I've known him over 2 decades, so I know where his head is and his heart is and how he comes to make a decision. I was very comfortable with that. In a former life, he represented my wife and her family in a different congressional district, and so they were very familiar with him as well. And so it was a very easy decision for me to set aside what I was thinking about prior and answer the call, quite frankly, and help in any way I could. So I was very comfortable.
I remember you gave a speech when you left State Party as a State Party chair a couple of years ago, and you were praising the work of the first budget from then Governor Pence. What was it? What was the most compelling thing about joining this administration that you said, I got to do this?
Well, it's just the way he's put his foot on the gas and accelerated this vehicle, and we were on the right trajectory, but we're starting to see, because of his leadership, Governor Pence's leadership, real separation between Indiana and all of our competitors. And he talked about it in this field office just a few minutes ago in Hendricks County, that we're now positioned as number one, undisputed number one in the Midwest and top 5 state in the whole country. And so to be a part of trying to help him guide this state forward and keep that forward momentum going, it's just both an exciting opportunity and a very encouraging one and fulfilling one to be a part of.
We have the lovely Mrs. Pence with us today. Behind any great governor is a great first lady. You are a great first lady. Tell us a little bit about what these first 4 years have been like, watching this state improve and watching your husband and his administration lead the state of Indiana.
Well, it's been a lot of fun. One of the biggest things we've done is start a charitable foundation, and we have given grant money to all 92 counties now, and are getting ready to have another grant ceremony in June. And it's been a way for us to kind of come alongside some of the smaller charities around the state that need help. But it's been a lot of fun too, being the bicentennial ambassador. So this year is so exciting all across the state, and every county is doing some really amazing things.
All right, so you guys are in Danville today for the opening of the Victory Center for the Republican Party here in Hendricks County. This is a very important county. Mr. Governor, what do the people of Hendricks County bring to this election cycle this year?
Well, this is a dynamic county, and obviously, whether you're talking about advanced manufacturing or logistics or agriculture, Hendricks County is really setting the pace in growth and opportunity and educational advancement, and that's why we're here. This is our second stop on a victory tour that will span the next 4 days across the state of Indiana, because we simply want to take our message to the people of Indiana, that I think we've got a chance to accelerate our success, but there's a choice. And that's what elections are all about. That's why I spent some time at the speech here at our Victory Center today and will around the state, kind of laying out that choice. And it's a choice between 12 years where we've been balancing budgets, cutting taxes, making investments in education and infrastructure with the results the Lieutenant Governor just described. And frankly, the record of my opponent, Speaker John Gregg, who took the state from a $2 billion surplus to an $800 million deficit, who didn't cut taxes, they raised taxes. And also, when it came to education and local governments, they actually delayed payments to local governments, universities, local schools, creating hardship on those that teach our kids and serve our families. So we're going to lay that out, and we're going to do it in a cheerful way, and we're going to take our case to the people of Hendricks County again and again and all across Indiana.
We share something in common. We both got to spend some time with Donald Trump during the election season.
You did too?
I did. I got to interview him. It was great. What was this election season like for you? Because you had all these candidates coming in, and they all wanted to meet with you, and they all wanted to talk to you about Indiana.
Yeah, well, it was great. And look, I'm a lifelong Hoosier. I grew up in a small town in southern Indiana. When I was 5 years old, Barry Goldwater's train came through Columbus, and my mom dressed me and my three brothers all up, put little Goldwater train hats on. Talk about being a young Republican. I was down there at the train station cheering them on, but that just hasn't happened very often in Indiana. And so for me to see not one but both political parties, their candidates canvassing across the state of Indiana, was just, as governor, it was very exciting for me to know that Hoosiers were going to have an opportunity to see these candidates and for these candidates to hear from the people of the state. At the end of the day, people of Indiana made their choice in the Democrat and Republican primaries, and Indiana played a decisive role in my party's nomination. But it was an exciting time to be a Hoosier, and I also just think what a great thing for our kids to see up close and personal.
Our guest is Governor Mike Pence, First Lady Karen Pence, and Lieutenant Governor Eric Holcomb. Mr. Holcomb, the governor talked the other day at the Downtown GOP Club about the last 12 years and about the progress of the last 12 years. You were a part of a lot of that first 8 of the 12. Talk a little bit about these 12 years and what they've meant to Indiana and why it's important to keep going forward.
Well, it's kind of a tale of two cities in the way that we've been led. We've seen this movie before. Should our opponent aspire and become elected, we've seen how he's governed, and it's not to a good place. And so I just know so many people from around the state kind of rose up and led a revolution. A lot of Hendricks County residents and citizens said, no more, we can do better. And we proved that we could. And it took sound fiscal management and being disciplined and tightening our belt and living within our means. It's not rocket science, but it takes a real plan and then executing the plan. And folks all around the state, Hendricks County had a very loud voice in that whole outcome. And I think they will again this year come November. But it's a lot of hard work. We've worked hard to get here, and Governor Pence has really, as he said, accelerated it, and we've created that separation, and I just want to keep that momentum going forward.
Mr. Governor, as we wind down the final few minutes that we have with you here, you're on this, it's your Start Your Engines tour to tie into the 500, and you have a busload of people that are going around the state with you. Like, I can't get 2 people to get in the car with me. What's it like to have a busload of people to say, for the whole day, we're going to come help you? That's got to be really, really flattering.
Well, what's it like, dear?
Yeah, I'd say it's more humbling. I mean, to know that people took the day off work and decided to come with us, and they're so upbeat and positive and clapping all the time and cheering, and we're having a lot of fun on the bus. And so it really does mean a lot to know that people come out, and especially at all of our stops as well, to greet us. It's a lot of fun.
All right, want to close with this because I know you guys got to get. Where are you headed off to next? Where is it?
Headed up to Fort Wayne, Indiana. We'll end the night in LaPorte, but Eric and I will be on the road together all the way through Saturday morning. Then I'm excited about this. I'm having a Boy Scout jamboree at the governor's residence.
That's awesome.
Downtown.
How do you get tickets to that? Like, how do you get on the invitation list?
You bring a pup 10, I'll find you a place to set it up. We're going to have over 100 Boy Scouts from all over the state of Indiana who are going to be camping out. I'm so excited because I'm going to have a chance. I'm going to get with a couple of troops, small settings, talk to them about leadership, character, and then talk to the whole group around a campfire. but we've got 6 acres in the middle of our capital city, and I just thought we've got such a great Boy Scouts tradition in Indiana. I said, why don't we start that out this year? And so after we run through the tape. All the way on Saturday, I'll be setting up a pup tent, and I told the kids I'd sleep outside with them, but Mrs. Pence
said no.
Mrs. Pence is a little skeptical about that.
Well, I want to close with this. If you were to look back on these first 4 years, if you were to peg one accomplishment and say, look, this is what we did that I would say is the signature thing that Indiana accomplished, what would it be?
I reaching a milestone about 9 months ago of record employment is very humbling for me. For us to come to our bicentennial year with more Hoosiers going to work than ever before in our state's history is a testament to the hardworking people of Indiana, to their character, their reputation, their commitment to excellence, their resilience. And it's as Karen said, it's a very humbling thing for me to be involved. I think it's not any one thing. I think first it's our people and their hard work, and business owners, large and small, have been risking capital and creating jobs. But the other part of it, I do believe, as Lieutenant Governor Holcomb said, the last 12 years that have created one of the best environments to start a business, grow a business, or get a job. That's what convinces me our third century can be more prosperous than our first 2 combined.
Well, I want to say thanks for taking the time to speak with us. Thanks for doing well, because it gives radio broadcasters all over the land hope, because you've done so well. So we have something to aim for. We might be able to be governor someday.
I have no doubt.
Governor Pence, Mrs. Pence, Lieutenant Governor Holcomb, thank you so much for your time today, and best of luck on the campaign.
Thank you.
Hey, guys, welcome back to Rob Kendall Show. Oh, that was awesome. That was great. That interview with Pence. Oh, man, I was listening to that, and, man, it just reminds me of how much I miss. Jason and I were talking about it while the thing was playing. Oh, my God, I love that Jason just a little Easter egg threw the photo with Todd Young. I'll tell you what, a couple things. I'm listening to that interview, and it reminds me, one, how much I miss local radio. Like, I'm not talking like IBC local radio. I'm talking like genuinely local radio. Like, I'm serious. The most fun I ever had was doing that Central Indiana Today show. Every day, it was interviewing different people. We took that show from nothing. Like, I helped get that radio station on the air. It was a county radio station, covers Hendricks County. You still get it today, 98.9 WYRZ. Helped get it on the air, and then made that show like an anchor, because the job of the station was to serve the community. And every night, we would do different conversations with people. And like I said, sometimes it would be, the governor, it would be Trump, it would be all the senators. And then some days it would be like the local, park director or, librarian. Like, it was so much fun. And people were like, these are kind of softball questions. That's how community radio works, man. Like you're building the radio station. It was not IBC. Like IBC got me and was like, what did we get into? And then they were like, well, he does really well with ratings, so we'll just go with it, right? Community radio is not that. Your advertiser's like the local insurance agent. It's not how it works, right? But man, that was so much fun, and I just forgot how much fun I used to have with that show and doing that. And the fact that we took that, literally both the show and the station, from nothing and build it. And I built that show into something that was so well received that ended up with my career at IBC. Like, man, that was awesome. Those pictures were great. So those pictures, that interview was from 2016. Those pictures, Jason took those pictures. They were from the Mayberry Cafe in Danville. I was Pence's county coordinator in 2011. And I'm looking at those photos, and I've not seen those photos in forever. One, I had just been elected to public office. I was not in the public office yet, so I'd totally not been jaded at all by the system. I was like, Rob Kendall's in his mid-20s, and this is awesome. And I probably went to Broad Ripple after that event and had a great old time. I looked great in that suit. I don't even know when the last time I wore a suit was. And the governor's ball, the one in 2025, that's the last time I put a suit on. And, man, my hair. Got all the hair. Although, luckily, my hair is still basically the same color. I mean, I got that. That was 15 years ago. Oh, man, that was great stuff. That was fun. And that's what we're doing today. It's Friday. We found those interviews. Thought, man, that'd be fun. Hey, leaky chimney, water in the basement, cracks around the exterior of your home. Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants is your authority for chimney repair, tuck pointing, foundation repair, crawl space to basement conversions, basement waterproofing, and more. Bramwell Mackay doesn't offer quick patches. Their team of 40-year master masons and industry experts address the root cause and provide solutions that last lifetimes. Your home is one of your biggest investments. Treat it that way. Bramwell Mackay. BRAMWELLMCKAY. BramwellMackay.com. Your masonry, foundation, and chimney specialist. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we got a lot to get to, including your comments, the best YouTube comments of the day, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. It's Hour 3, brought to you by our friend John Rust. It's a fun Friday. We'll talk about it a lot more when we come back. You're watching Rob Kendall Show.
Right now, everything's expensive. That includes things you need around the house. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. John is a Hoosier lifer who takes pride in and stands behind his work. That's why all basic services and repairs with Black Sheep Plumbing come with a 2-year parts and labor guarantee, with water heaters having a 6-year parts and tank guarantee. Call or text Black Sheep Plumbing for all your needs today and speak directly with John, the owner. 765-315-7558. That's Black Sheep Plumbing at 765-315-7558.
Hi, I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties. I would love to get to know you. I know that buying and selling a home is a really big deal. You need a plan in place so you can succeed. And that's where I come in. If you are buying, let me help you find that perfect home. And if you are selling, let me help you find that perfect buyer. Look, we're all Rob Kendall Show fans here. That's why I'd love to get to know you. I'm Lauren Wilson, Realtor with App Properties, an Army veteran and a Hoosier through and through. Call me at 317-590-2290, 317-590-2290.
Is your driveway showing signs of wear? Freeze-thaw cycles, road salt, environmental buildup like mold and dirt can all cause unsightly damage that can end up in an expensive repair. That's where Seal Now comes in. Seal Now are the clean, seal, and stain professionals that can help you protect your outdoor surfaces. Got a worn-out fence or deck? They can revive the look while providing long-term protection. Call today, 317-548-2002, or visit sealnow.com. Not only will you get a free estimate, but mention you heard about Seal Now on The Rob Kendall Show and receive 20% off any long-term sealing project.
Hey guys, welcome back. It's the Rob Kendall Show. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for spending your Friday with us, man. We're doing things a little different today. We found a couple of old audio files that we've been playing for you. The interview with Trump, that interview with Pence, and I know you guys love every song, like the Rob Kendall origin stories. Well, those are, I thought there'd be a couple fun ones to play and remember, and like I said, just having a little fun on Friday. We've talked about some of the big issues as well. Jason's going to be along here in just a moment to read some of the best YouTube comments of the day. You guys have been on fire in the YouTube chat. Before we do that, though, hey, Double D's Barbecue. I believe it was Spray Jockey went the other day. Got the load of baked potato, and he said it was great. Spray Jockey, confirm that was you. I think that's who it was. They're open all weekend long, Friday and Saturday. Well, I guess that's not all weekend, is it? That's just Friday and Saturday. That's 2 of the 3 days. Friday and Saturday is not all weekend. Sunday would be the weekend as well. But they're open Friday and Saturday. How about that? And the specials tonight and tomorrow, Mississippi farm-raised catfish. You guys know we love Double D's Barbecue in Clayton. It's on 40, just a little bit of a drive, but totally worth it. Right there at 49 or 39 and 40. Man, they do it right. The owners, Dennis and Tina, along with their son Garrett, they're from Memphis, so they're not screwing around with the barbecue. It is authentic, wood-smoked, Memphis-style barbecue. They are the winners of Best Sauce from Ribs Fest in Hendricks County. They are the winners of Best Ribs from Ribs Fest in Hendricks County. Ribs, brisket, and more at Double D Southern Barbecue. As we said, the special tonight and tomorrow, Mississippi farm-raised catfish. And the restaurant, it's Elvis themed, guys. Everybody who goes, you guys love Double D Southern Barbecue. They're also going to be sponsoring our live event. They They can't be there in person because of Rib Fest, but they said, hey, we want to help out. We want to contribute. They're going to be a sponsor. We've got some cool stuff going on with that. We'll hopefully tell you about next week. And by the way, speaking of our live event, get the tickets now, guys. Help me get John, the owner of Mad Hatter, off my back. Let's get those final tickets sold. Few left. Head over to robkendallshow.com. Don't miss out on the opportunity to join us, and that way John will leave me alone. One less thing I got to worry about the next 2 weeks. Get the tickets this weekend. Let's wrap it up. Mad Hatter Comedy Club Event Center in Greenwood. Don't miss out. Once they're gone, they're gone. Few tickets left. robkendallshow.com is where you can get your tickets. Link there at the top of the page. June the 27th, come join us, hang out with us, have a good time. The one-man live show celebrating you guys, our fabulous, fabulous audience. RobKendallShow.com is where you can get your tickets. Live ticket show link at the top of the page. And with that, we bring in the star of the show.
That would be me.
Star of stage and screen.
Yes, thank you.
We decided to do things a little different today. We were like, what can we do to be kind of fun? And we found that. I was going to play that part of that Trump interview with the Ryan White comments. And we were like, let's just play that Trump interview. And then we found the Pence interview. Like, we should play that too. That's funny. Good job putting that photo montage together. We'll post those up in a little bit.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm up there. There we go. All right, you can hear me. Yeah, that was pretty cool. You wanted to play it. I thought, I've got all these photos. I had to go back and pull all those photos up, but and that took a little while. But that was kind of fun.
Yeah,
I thought people would enjoy the Todd Young photo, Rob, back in the day when he was best buddies with Todd Young. Working his way up
before he was the Duke of Spendingburg. I mean, he was still spending a lot of money in a house, but not near what he spent in the Senate.
Right.
And before he moved aggressively in my direction at the Stacks Pancake House.
All right, this chat brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing. If your water heater, water softener, or well pump goes out, or even if your toilet stops working, you could be looking at a major expense. Don't let your next call to a plumber break the bank. Call John at Black Sheep Plumbing. Black Sheep Plumbing can do the job at a fraction of the cost of the big guys, and Black Sheep Plumbing says thank you to all military, firefighters, and police officers with an American Heroes discount. Call or text John at Black Sheep Plumbing today for all your needs. Speak directly with John, the owner, 765-315-7558. Once again, that number, 765-315-7558. Black Sheep Plumbing.
One of the things, listen to those interviews, it's wild, like to listen to old clips of yourself or other people or whatever.
Right.
Just how optimistic and fired up I was about radio.
You didn't really have the deep Rob going yet.
No.
He had kind of I'm just glad to be here.
Well, I mean, like I was
nothing wrong with that.
We just started that show and it was popular. It was doing well. Like the final couple of years that I was at IBC, I was not overly optimistic each day when I came into work. I was not overly excited every day when I came to work.
And when you're not excited about the job, the creativity kind of goes out the window too, and you become just kind of drone.
When our business, whether it's this or radio or TV, whatever, it's about the idea that there's always something else that you can do. There's always something else out there, not from like a job perspective, but in terms of the creativity of the thing we're going to do, the thing we're going to make, how we're going to expand it, how we're going to grow it. It's, what the journey, right, is part of the fun of it. And, I wanted, the thing we did the last week I was there is the thing I wanted to do. When we sent you down there to Jasper and we took down the Mid-States corridor, that's what I kept wanting that shit.
And people say, okay, well, right, Rob, you single-handedly took down the Mid-States corridor. There's a lot of people that say, a lot of people at the Statehouse did not know anything about this until they heard it on WIBC, and people were complaining that it was droning on day after day after day. Come on, like we had 4 days worth of stuff there, and I know people might have started getting tired of it, but all those people that are paid by lawmakers to sit and listen to Rob Kendall were making notes about the Mid-States corridor, and there were people who said, there were lawmakers there that had no idea that was even a thing until they heard it. And, of course, it was all voted down. And they like, we want money for our county, our districts, too. Why is this all going to Braun? And they swept it all under the rug, and they'll probably try to sweep it back out here soon. But, so that's how, when Rob says we stopped it, that's pretty much by bringing the awareness there.
And we could have done that every day, every week, We could have, right? And that was what I kept pushing to want to do, and it just wasn't going to happen with the makeup of the people that were
right
in there.
Spending too much time on that, Rob. All right.
But the point is like that was enthusiastic for me, being able to do what we did, being able to do what you did with the Shelbyville thing. Like that brings me enthusiasm.
Yeah, we need more of that.
It's helping people, and it's a radio or media or whatever you want to call this, right? Podcasting, whatever, which it's something different each day. You come in and man, I just like hear it in there. Like I go back in time, like to those moments. It's like, man, I had that back then. I had that back then.
Right. And what it takes is a Jason McCoy for Du Bois County and a Connie Lindsay for Shelbyville. Somebody to kind of point things, be a point person. Both of them were incredibly helpful to me in getting both of those done. And I'd like to do more stuff like that. So, I mean, anybody has suggestions. And we've had a couple suggestions come in. Now, some things we're not going to be able to financially and be capable of doing. Right. We can't take down the entire hospital system. I know there's a thing going on there. And these are all very serious subjects, but we only have, we don't have resources. We just have a microphone.
Right.
So that's what we deal with. Hey, Spence 57 says Black Sheep Plumbing is at my house today.
Oh,
John's a great guy.
Awesome.
There we go.
Awesome.
Everybody should text John.
Thanks for using the service.
Blow his phone up. All right. So we start the chat today again, brought to you by Black Sheep Plumbing, and we go to last night when the chat actually started. Good evening, everyone. That was Kevin Branham. Kevin was very, very excited to be number one in the chat. He had to show up very early last evening, but he did so. And Rocklaws confirmed it. Hi, at Kevin Branham. How you doing tonight? Just finished editing one of my videos. Way to go being number one in the chat. All right. And as we continue on, Spray Jockey, I survived the tornado and wind, but I'm sitting in the dark. A lot of tornadoes, well, not a lot of tornadoes, but some tornado activity last night. A lot of wind hit down on the south side pretty hard, too. So glad to see you. Hopefully everybody pulled through all that okay. Hopefully not a lot of tree damage and all that good stuff. Spray Jockey pointed out, yes, Rob, you were correct. He was the one that ate at lunch at Double D's yesterday. Great food, great staff. I told them, I'm from the Rob Kendall Show, and I'm here to eat. There we go. He also asked, producer Jason, did a Fever player get shot last night? I looked that up because I hadn't heard that, but I went to bed after the game, and which they won, by the way, in overtime. Awesome performance there by the Fever. Tried to blow it, but they came through in fine fashion. But no, I don't believe anyway, Google said no Indiana Fever players were shot.
Well, that's good.
It kept trying to show the Caitlin Clark shot, but not. So I had to change it to shot with a bullet. No. So as far as I know,
very good to hear.
All Fever players should be safe.
Do you watch all the games?
Not all of them. Some of them, I don't think they even put all of them on. You got to pay for some, and I'm not paying for it. But if it's not already on one of the 5 platforms I have, but if it's on, I'll turn it on because what else would have been on last night?
Do you find it entertaining?
I do, and I've found myself sitting there at times going, why would I be watching women's basketball? I've never watched women's basketball in my life, but I like the Fever. It's all, promotion, marketing works. Caitlin Clark wasn't there, I wouldn't be watching. I'm no major fan or anything. It's just, okay, they're good. They're interesting. If they were to start losing, I probably would lose interest. They're going to have to win.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
all right.
But I watch. It's, why not? If she wasn't playing in Indiana, no, I wouldn't watch at all probably. So I don't know why. The Old Man 68, happy Friday, everyone. Sorry I'm late to the chat, but the storms and tornado sirens had me and the missus up until 3 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was pretty bad in parts of the states. C. Mills, Old Man 68, I finally had to go to bed at like 2 a.m., but power came back on around 4. It was not a fun night.
Wow.
So, yeah, a lot of people lost power.
Holy
That's always
smokes.
a bummer. Yeah, obviously you don't want to get hit by a tornado, but you also don't want your power going out. Pamela S., good morning from Ellettsville.
Oh.
Where is Ellettsville? What part of the state
Southern
is that?
Indiana.
Southern? I'm not sure. I wouldn't have asked if I knew. C. Mills, it's Friday. Let's rage. Wasn't a lot of raging going on today. Fridays are kind of let's listen to Rob's old interview day.
C. Mills strikes me as the sort of guy that's done some raging in his life.
Yeah, probably. Steve Green with an E. Good morning, all. Hope everyone stayed safe last night and came through. Yeah, we all.
You know what I did yesterday that I have not done in probably 6 years, maybe more?
What's that, Rob?
Got my car washed.
Oh, and it stayed together? No bolts fell off or anything?
I was amazed. That car it's still disgusting.
You ever have it detailed?
No. It's hanging on by my goal is to get another year out of my car. That's my goal.
I've never had a car detailed. I need to get mine detailed.
Do you remember at KLU there used to be a guy that worked at the radio
Yeah,
station?
we had a guy.
Detail guy.
The detail guy. Rich. Rich the detail guy.
Yeah. So this guy was fascinating. I think he's still around. I think he's
yeah.
I mean, like in the local scene or whatever.
Oh, I got
This guy's fascinating. His whole deal was he was a mega live music fan.
Right.
And when he would go to concerts, he'd go to concerts all the time. He would always sit in like the first 3 rows. He would not go if he couldn't get a ticket, whatever the thing was. And he had a show, and this was the 1019. It's a Christian station now, but it was the Hendricks County station back then. On Friday nights, where he would just play live music.
Right.
And he had all this live music collection, but his job was he detailed cars and trucks.
And his old van he would roll around.
Yeah,
in.
and
and
I worked with him one spring break. I went out with him and did the detailing. That's hard work.
It is. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's worth like $100 or whatever. It's worth it to me. I don't know.
Yeah, I did
Never had it done, but I think it would.
College. I think at college I went out with him. Yeah, that was a fascinating dude.
All right, 3 different things we did on the show today. You played the Braun clip of lies, and then you played the Trump interview from 10 years ago, and then you played the Braun interview from
the Pence interview.
My fault, from 15 years ago.
10 years ago.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so
the photos were from 15 years ago.
There we go. Okay, that is correct. That is right. That's what I was going by, the photos. So we're breaking that down. We're talking first about Braun, the little clip you played. This was just recently.
Yeah, this was yesterday.
This was yesterday. Mad Duck, oh, please. We could all choke on his first lie. Debbie Holcomb, Braun is a nut job. Ethan Hatcher, spotting the lies of politicians is super easy. If their lips are moving, they're lying. Steve Green with an E, sweet mother of all that's holy. Straight lie. Braun is a loser. Got 2 O's in there. Sue Seifert's, lies, lies, lies. Debbie Holcomb, almost every word was a lie. Joseph Norris, Braun is a spineless jellyfish of a politician. Oh, wait, he's just a normal politician. Debbie Holcomb, keep the likes coming, not the lies. Yes, keep those likes coming. 100 likes, says MLM Warriors by 9:30.
That's pretty good.
Awesome.
How are we doing now?
I don't know. What do we got going on here? Let me check the phone. Oh, let's see. I can't see. Not on the phone. It doesn't show the likes. Did we make it to 200? My guess is probably not. Friday is a little slow early on.
If you haven't hit the like button, please hit the little
please do
thumbs up
that
button. It really helps us.
All right. Now, we get to and that was basically the theme there was Braun's a liar.
Right.
Okay, so we've covered that. Thanks for all that input, folks. Tom Gardner, new into the chat, just with a big thumbs up. Oh, Ricky Clark with a thumbs up. Everybody, yeah. Braun's a liar. Okay. So, Hoosier 2025 got my first thumbs up, the like, and wonderful 3 hours of Rob and producer Jason. Thank you very much. Okay.
There you go.
Let's move on to I believe this would get us into the Trump interview.
All right.
Rob, what questions would you ask Trump now if you could get an interview?
Oh, jeez.
I mean, you don't have to go into the whole, maybe the unabridged version.
Well, I think I would be curious to ask him. I think that when I interview people, I try to talk about things that other people aren't going to talk about. And so one of the things that I would ask him is, was all of this worth it? Like
what?
Like the whole, like all the drama.
The Iran thing? Or
No. Like
being president.
Like the whole thing. All the crap you've had to go through.
Right.
Would you do it over again?
My guess would be yes, because otherwise he would have just been on TV as doing the reality shows. And you've really got to compete. Whereas if you're president, you got the stage every day. Ratings don't matter because unless you're impeached.
But all the grief, the legal stuff.
I don't think he looks at it like. I think he just like, so what?
I would be very curious to see what his answer would be if he was being honest about it.
A lot of people thrive under stress and pressure.
Me,
obviously, a lot of people. I mean, firefighters. So it's just a different. I mean, he would have been reality TV. He would have been trying to be seen and known and every day anyway. So this is just perfect opportunity. It's an open platform.
One of the things, and I mentioned this earlier, but one of the things that was cool for me was I really felt like, it's always a facade, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, and I told him this afterwards when we were sitting there talking after the interview, because he was super cool. And it seemed very genuine. Like there was nothing for him to get out of talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'd already done the interview.
Right,
There was
right.
nothing he already knew I was a fan, a supporter, whatever.
Right.
And I told him, I said, if more people could see this side of you, they would like you better.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
He
totally
probably let
different
his
from-
guard down a little. You probably looked a little young and naive.
Yeah, well, I mean, he was super cool. And that's
asking
what I was
about Ryan White and stuff. So it probably eased his,
But for some reason, because I think that is a part of Trump, or it was, who knows now, right? Like there is a really good side of him, like that's a normal dude.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if people saw this, like, I feel like the online thing is like a persona.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a character.
Right.
And it's like, this side of you is really cool too. Why don't you just be that?
Mm-hmm. Right.
It would be hard to hate that guy.
All right. Baby Fishmouth pointed out that, boy, this interview didn't age well.
Yeah, he didn't deliver on a whole bunch of stuff, did he?
Right. And LD Stoltz, I don't know what the topics were, but he says 2 things off the bat that Trump has not fixed.
Yeah.
So I imagine that
there's
in
a
the
lot
first
of things
couple
he didn't do. I mean,
yeah. Sue Seifert, fun to hear this. What happened to that candidate? He is so out of control and delusional now. Was he always as awful as he's become? I already agree he was never a great moral model. A lot of that might just, but again, different guy. It's been 10 years or so. Age can have a factor in that as well. Not that it's worse, but I mean, you can just be more blunt, or that just naturally happens, I think, the older you get. So,
one of the things with Trump is it's like, and it maybe goes a little bit with what we talked about with the lieutenant governor earlier. I'm fine with the BS if it's BS that's for the people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you got to throw a grenade out there, right? If it's some big thing that really helps the people. It feels like there's a lot of grenades that are just personal. Like they're not policy driven. They don't help the people. And I kind of thought, especially in term 2, it was like, all right, he's going to get down to business because he knows time is short. A lot of it doesn't seem like, it just seems like grenades for the sake of grenades.
Mm-hmm. Drew, holy crap. Now he shares hot dogs and grape soda with Lady Lindsey Graham.
Lady Lindsey.
Debbie Holcomb. I went to the rally at Grand Park right before Pence was tapped for VP. We were in the front row, right behind the VIP section. It was fascinating. Those rallies were pretty cool.
I was there for
a little
that
afraid we were going to get blown up, but it was. We didn't, so we survived.
I was at that one at Grand Park. I was in the media tent for that one just because I didn't want to deal with the crowd or anything. And you're right. The security at those was crazy.
Yeah, I got to stand back, like the photos, the perspective of the photos that I had there. I was able to stand in the media, well, it wasn't a pit. They usually call it a media pit, but it was actually a riser.
Yeah.
And when he pointed back, everybody else knew this was going to happen except me. I'm standing right in the front rail, like right there, and I'm looking down. Rob's right there, and I've got like just a 50-yard, like just a perfect view of Trump right in front, taking these photos directly straight on. And I'm standing there like this is the coolest thing ever. And at a certain point, I noticed there's nobody, like everybody backed away, and they're all like back, milling around, kind of looking around. And Trump's like, and those evil media. And I'm standing there, and everybody in the whole place turns and looks, and they're laughing. And I'm just standing there like, I'm just taking pictures, and everybody's all the camera. They had their cameras locked in, the television, and they all knew it was coming, and they all walked to the back, and they're just kind of looking around, and I'm the only guy standing there.
The best part was I was sitting down in front of you. It was me and Chris Spangle, if you remember, our former landlord.
Right.
And we're sitting there, and I've got my Trump hat on, and everybody turns around, and he's saying how evil the media is, and I'm sitting there with the Trump hat on. Hey.
Yeah, but you were there. I was like, it was like I was just like they had literally almost like put a spotlight on me or something. It was like, hey, how y'all doing? I'm evil. All right, Vic Ferrari, expecting any man to solve all the problems was your first mistake, and I think people get sucked into that all the time.
Well,
and I think, yeah, I think everybody thought he was the odd guy out in that he is us. and he'll stand for us. And I think everything he had to go through, he was certainly jaded. And like you said, the revenge factor, I think, is certainly playing into it. We wouldn't have wanted to see that from a Democrat president either. So, but hey, human's human, right? Vanessa Brizendine. Probably pronounced that wrong. Sorry, Vanessa.
I know Vanessa.
Oh, do
She's
you?
wonderful.
Okay.
Yes.
How do you say her last name?
I think that's pretty close.
Okay, good. I'm glad you played this. I still believe President Trump is working hard for all of us. I pray for him daily. Sue Seifert. And such a calm and relaxed Rob. We don't hear that much.
Well,
I think you kind of do now, though.
Well,
you've mellowed.
You look at the in the mirror stuff, and I, say the same thing about me. Like I had so few experiences other than my own, like in the community that I was running.
Mm-hmm.
When all of that stuff happened. And I had my experiences at the state, which really pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of like, I mean, you think about for 9 years, but especially for 6, I basically went to fight every day,
Right,
and
right.
I also went to fight in an environment with the fellow soldiers I wasn't real thrilled with, right?
Right.
It's like having Gomer Pyle MC next to me or something.
Yeah. You want people you can trust in the foxhole next to you.
And that really, it does wear on you. These guys pull so much crap.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why our show was different. We took that on. Most of the guys won't do that. They won't take it on because they don't want to get sideways with the Republicans. But that's why I said I'm not judging Trump on that because I'm not throwing stones from a glass house, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've done much of the same thing. I'm just not president of the United States.
Exactly. Again, different. You have to be different. If you're going to be, I don't care if you're a town councilor or city council or whatever, all the way up to president of the United States. There's a decorum that you must follow, in my opinion. All right, MLM Warriors at producer Jason, you did a nice job with the photos during the audio interview with Trump. Rob, you did a nice, respectful interview with Trump. Good job. Thank you.
Hey, real quick,
Yeah.
Before you get back to more YouTube
Sure.
comments, because we ran a little long with those interviews today.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you about our friend Lauren Wilson. Lauren's going to be with us Monday, by the way.
All right.
She's going to talk about the real estate market in central Indiana is crazy right now. There are neighborhoods, not cities, but neighborhoods that are on fire. There are cities that are on fire, too. And then there are some where it's like, yeah, you couldn't move that house if your life depended on it. You need a pro to tell you whether you're in the fire zone or the friend zone or the frozen zone, right? You've been friend zoned or hey, it's gonna be the greatest night of your life zone. That's where Lauren Wilson comes in. Realtor with At Properties. Get an advocate behind you. Somebody will tell you the truth. Somebody will go to bat for you. It's a good time to sell your home. Is it not? Do you want to hold? Do you want to go? Lauren Wilson, she'd love the opportunity to meet you, take a look at your situation, give you some good advice, and then you guys can go from there. She's a Hoosier lifer, military vet. Lauren Wilson, realtor with At Properties, 317-590-2290. 317-590-2290. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
All right, no problem. 179 likes. Could we get 21 likes in 20 minutes?
We can do it.
21 likes in 20 minutes.
do
If
it.
you're listening, you haven't liked, just hit that like button. Make us feel good. It's a Friday. Send us out on a high note. Rock Laws, it was great rehearing the Trump interview. Ricky Clark, great job with the interview, Rob. T. Heller, people have misconstrued the inflation remark. Context, perspective missing. I've not actually heard the entire segment there, so that does happen a lot with Trump because he'll be saying one thing and just totally boom, and then back to it. It's like, well, that was awful. Well, in perspective, So I
read you the whole quote yesterday.
Well,
so
what was the question and what was the, and he has a point. Sometimes with Trump, you gotta you can't take the one paragraph. You gotta look like 6 or 7 paragraphs to see what he was referring to. Kind of like the chat. Like if I can read a line, but if I'm not sure what they were referring to, it's totally different. So I get that. All right. I'm reaching, but I get it. All right. Ricky Clark.
You're Gumby over there, that's for sure.
Ricky Clark enjoyed the telling of Trump, Michael Jackson visit to see Ryan White. That's the stuff you don't hear a lot about.
Well, and
that's a good perspective.
That's one of the main reasons I want to play that interview because, like I said, it ended up being a happy little, accident or whatever that I wasn't able to get that audio pulled, and we ended up having some fun with it today. But I think that's all genuine. I think he genuinely did everything he could to help, and I think all the stuff he said about Ryan White was great.
C. Mills, originally, I think Trump's heart was in the right place, but he got a taste of the power, and it ruined his soul. That's why all politicians are soulless. They are in it for themselves and no one else. Yeah, I think there's some. They have a posse that they're in it for as well. I mean, Beckwith's got some folks that I'm sure they're all in it. Vanessa Dean. I believe Dean Dine. Yeah, that's where I was going. I believe things are better here in our country in many areas, and I also believe we can thank President Trump for that. Don't forget where we were when Dems were in charge. It is easy to forget that, and it is easy to have the blinders on and not look back 2 years ago, 3 years ago to how bad things were. And he said he was going to fix it. He hasn't. I mean, but it's, a little better than it was, and I guess we'll all be assuming the next guy is going to fix it too. We'll all eat that hook, line, and sinker, I'm sure, as well.
That's why when I heard
that's not what she said. That was my part there.
Well, yeah. That's why I heard that interview. I was like, maybe I'd be best served just going back to community radio.
Yeah, we'll catch you on WYRZ Brownsburg. Kevin,
still there, by the way.
Kevin Branham. Rob, you sounded so young in that interview. Looked exactly the same, though. I mean, those other than the haircut, those photos, I don't see how that happens. But Charles Ludi, Trump 2.0 is compromised. He can't even maintain a position from 1 week to another on Iranian nuclear assets or be clear on exit strategy. Very, very true.
I will say it's a done deal thing, or it's almost a done deal, and then it's not. That does get old, right?
Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, yeah.
Don't say it if it's not going to happen.
Again, if that was Biden, everybody would just be all over that. I mean, he said that for 6 months now. We're almost there. We're almost there. And I know it's like your kid. It's like you don't want to it's like, okay, I'm going to give you another chance here because I don't want, but.
You know what my kid did last night?
What'd your kid do?
So we try to go, there's, like 4 or 5 playgrounds around where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
So she always wants to go to a different one. So we walk.
See, the city leaders knew that. That's why they spent all that money on 4 or 5 playgrounds so Rob Kendall's daughter could have her choice.
We go to the school playgrounds. They're much nicer.
I'm saying. They're already there.
But so we, last night I told her, she wants to go as soon as she gets home from daycare. I'm like, no, it's too hot, right? You got to wait. So finally it's time. I say, okay, we can go.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's like 6:30 when we leave.
Mm-hmm.
She takes forever to walk there because she has to grab every flower and everything. Fine, whatever. So then, she moseys around and, does her thing. And then finally she decides she wants to go for another walk. Well, now I'm walking to the south. We're walking further away from my house.
Mm-hmm.
She gets to like the furthest point on the school property around one of the baseball fields, like there's a baseball field nearby. I'm talking about like way away by the soccer fields. And she looks at me. She's walked all this way on her own, right?
Right.
She's walked herself as far away you're getting close to the street at this point.
Okay.
And I'm like, all right. She's eventually going to turn around. She looks at me. Daddy, up. And she puts her arms up like this.
Mm-hmm.
And when my kid does that, that means she's decided she's done walking.
Oh, okay, right.
She waited to the furthest possible point from my home.
Well, she got the exercise she needed and decided, I'm done.
And I had to carry her.
Dad needs some exercise.
All the way home.
That was good for you.
My whole life is about carrying other people.
All right. So here's the other thing in the chat, and I'm going to say this one time, and I'm going to give them an opportunity, and that's it. You don't argue with the other chatters, and it's just that's not what this is for. This guy comes in 2 days in a row. Well, if you don't just you say your piece, go on, have a conversation, but getting tired of you.
Isn't it amazing that there's some people that just won't get it?
It's like you
may have to ban them.
Yeah, that's just whatever. Okay, so Vic Ferrari, that rally at the Indiana State Fairgrounds was pretty cool back in 2016.
Yeah, that was awesome. There were 2 of them. He had 2 of them there.
Yep, Thomas Ho. I appreciate Rob's honesty in his monologue after the replay. All right. MLM Warriors, Rob, you are a good radio interviewer.
Thank you.
Could just be on the radio.
Oh, hey.
Sorry. Charles Ludi, Trump at one time was favorable of Nancy Pelosi, but he stated that he disapproved of her never pressing for the impeachment of Bush because Bush lied and sent our military to Iraq. Oh. So he's saying Trump was on Pelosi because she would not impeach Bush. Well, that table turned.
She found her strength.
Yeah. There's a way to discuss politics, and there's a way that you start bringing people into an argument. So There we go. Kent Panair taking Lisa to Honeysuckle for dinner tonight.
Oh, how exciting. You're going to love it, man.
Yeah. Bowden JM, great political stories. Yeah, that's what we try to do here. Andy Engel, Rob, where did you meet to do the interview? That would have been the Trump interview.
Oh, it was at the JW Marriott downtown.
Mm-hmm.
JW Marriott downtown. Yes, right there by Victory Field.
All right. MLM Warriors, Rob, your show, your take, your time. Interesting story.
At least we entertained someone.
Yes. I feel like he was entertained. MLM Warrior, no tape recorder.
That's right.
Did you use your computer?
Had the computer.
All right. With the same microphone that you used to this day for the Zoom interviews?
Yeah. I actually, Briggs and I, when I had Briggs on a couple weeks ago or last week or whenever that was, I told him, I said, I used some analogy and I said, I can't, that microphone is bad, but it's like I can't let it go. Mm-hmm. It's the Trump microphone. Mm-hmm. I can't get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. Hang on.
Did you break it?
Nope.
Well, I got to thank Grandma Mackay here, so you get whatever you need to get. Hey, guys, you got a masonry color mismatch, previous repair catching your eye, not happy with the brick color of your home, ready for a total makeover?
You're gone.
Bramwell Mackay Property Services and Consultants offer specialized masonry staining and recoloring. Whether you want to seamlessly blend repairs or completely transform your home's exterior. Want to build something new? Bramwell Mackay's 40-year master masons design and construct custom patio, sidewalks, outdoor summer kitchens, archways, entryways, and more. Bramwell Mackay, BRAMWELLMCKAY, BramwellMackay.com. Beauty built to endure.
MLM Warriors, thank you, Rob and Jason, for keeping going and not giving up.
That's right.
We don't give up.
We'll be back.
That's right. Checks keep showing up. Here we are. No, that's it. We do this for free.
Just a goofy little podcast.
It'd be a lot of time for free, but we'd still do it. 0601 board. Was it a dream?
He said it.
It would have been. I would have been cool. I mean,
I would say it is the. This will sound weird. It is the third coolest experience I've ever had.
Oh, yeah?
Meeting Bruce Springsteen was the first.
Oh, Jesus.
Then meeting the Ultimate Warrior. Well, talking to the Ultimate Warrior was the second.
You know, to me, it was pretty cool when I met your wife. You want to reorder those, restructure those?
You
mean in your professional
I thought we were talking
life?
About professional.
Okay, you didn't say that. You just said in your life.
No. Okay. Obviously, like the birth of my daughter would be first, right? That's the coolest experience.
10 more likes. 10 more likes. Come on, guys.
But in terms
I
of
just booted a guy. Is that not entertainment?
Yeah.
I just kicked a.
What did he say? What was he doing?
I was just, it was like, well, would you rather have he's an antagonist. I don't like antagonist. It's not about insult. It's just antagonist.
There.
Go. You know what you're doing.
I would say of the people that I've met.
Isn't that worth a couple likes?
That was he is the third coolest.
Vic Ferrari, I feel like at producer Jason is the God voice that talks to Homer Simpson sometimes. I went from legend to godlike. I tell you what, it's only been, 13 weeks?
15.
15 weeks?
15.
Okay, it took me 15 weeks to get to godlike. Thank you.
This is episode 75.
Thanks,
74?
Vic. What's that? 74? Yeah, probably. I think I made a note of episode 100. It's July. It's in July, obviously, but I forget what the date is. 20th, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Assuming that we make it to every show between now and then, and that because we don't have to take off for the July 4th because that's on a Saturday.
Oh, is it?
So we work on the 3rd. We work on the 7th.
I got you.
6th. Yeah, there we go. Okay, Kevin Branham. Do we have to suffer through Pence? It wasn't that bad. Young Kim. Pence is one of those traitors who wanted to see Trump fail. I would agree with that.
But you gotta blame Trump for picking Pence.
True.
A bunch of us were like, don't do that.
True.
That's a bad move.
He did not vet very well. He should have he should have asked you.
Well, I wanted him to pick Gingrich because I was like, Gingrich is here's why. Hear me out on this. Gingrich is an egomaniac too, but Gingrich knows where the bread is buttered, and he would have destroyed
I think the negative. Oh, I don't know the negativity.
I love
his
Gingrich.
Negative fact. I love him too, and he made Bill Clinton look great. Without question, he carried Bill Clinton's presidency.
But I knew.
But Clinton was smart enough to go along with it.
Yeah.
He saw the writing on the wall, said, "Okay, we're going to do this. Look what I did." And he gets credit for it to this day.
So great. That would have been awesome if he'd have picked Gingrich.
Yeah. Steve Green with an E. I never heard the full interview. Great segment.
Thank you.
Yep, that's why we tossed it on out there. Sue Seifert.
Isn't that wild? 10 years later, we're still getting mileage out of that.
That is.
Isn't that great?
Sue Seifert, stop calling it a goofy local podcast. You're more relevant nationwide than you think.
Oh?
Well, thanks, Sue.
Well, I should probably tell her some people she needs to send that to then.
Whenever he says that, that's because people like to punch him while he's down, but tables will turn. Well, I can't say that. Maybe not. We could just filter. We could flitter away. Who knows? MLM Warriors.
There are people in our business who don't think you matter.
I would be fine doing this for the next.
Be fine too.
Whatever.
Wherever it goes, it's going to be fine.
Just get me to my retirement, Rob. MLM Warriors, the Rob Kendall Show might be local and some national news, but he has been heard worldwide.
Thank you.
Well, we're on the World Wide Web.
That's true.
So we need somebody to check in from outside the country. Jennifer RP, thank you for bringing up this issue, Rob.
Which one?
I'm not sure. It would have been after that.
Probably was Micah.
Oh, yes, that's where we're into the Micah stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, because Shrog Sandwich says, it's why I don't call myself a Christian. I say I'm a Jesus follower. I'm 100% on that. It's me and God. And when I want to talk to Jesus, I can talk to Jesus. I don't need a middleman. And I understand it's the community and all that, but a lot of those rules were made up by man, not by God. And you need to congregate, you need to do this, and that's great because people need that in their lives, and people enjoy that. And people go to church to be in a community of like-minded people. They want to better themselves. Everybody says, "Well, as a Christian, and you say the F word, and you do this." The idea of being a Christian is you accept your sins, understand you're a sinner, and you want to better yourself, and you should try to better yourself. But some people think going to church is the way to do that. They get the community and all that good stuff. They help people. Nothing wrong with that. But don't tell me that if I don't, that I'm doing something wrong. That's where I have the problem with it. So I guess we agree on that, Shrog. MLM Warriors, goofy podcast, do not have a real sign and set. They do it from their bedroom. I added that. Kevin Branham, Beckwith is such a poser. Needed to get that one in there. The Old Man 68, I'm accountable to God for how I represent him to the world around me. As a pastor, I will be held to a higher standard both now and before God. That's what I think. If you're going to take that responsibility, well said, old man. I would stand up and applaud you right now if I could. But if you're going to be a pastor, if you're going to be a minister, if you're going to be a priest, you're going to be more accountable, I think. I think you should be held more accountable when that day comes. So I agree. Okay. Kevin Branham, he's just looking to be a podcaster after he and Braun are voted out of office. Talking about Beckwith. Okay, no comment. Okay, good.
And here's the thing about doing that segment.
Mm-hmm.
I was hesitant to even do it because I'm basically done giving him attention. But those guys need to know, and I told Daniel Elliott that this morning. I don't think he'll mind me sharing. And I think Elliott's a little different because he's a statewide office holder. So him calling Beckwith out is a bigger deal. But when he craves that attention. He does not care that it's negative. You're not harming him. Like some people would be embarrassed, they'd be mortified. He's not. That doesn't work. So when you comment on his stuff, and it took me a while to learn this, right? Because he does so much ridiculous stuff, and he's such a fraudster, and he's such a liar, and he's so disappointing, you do get pissed off.
Mm-hmm.
But those guys need to know, like when they had that rally, that's feeding into exactly what he wants.
Right. So if you come back in, if I block you and you come back in with a different name, I know who you are. So I'm just going to block you again. I mean, you can come in with 50 different names. I've played this game before, okay? All right. Old man, many ministers forget this fact and are more worried about being popular and liked than speaking the truth of the word of God. So, old man, I'd be curious, am I on the right track? I mean, is you have a problem with anything I've said? I'd be interested to hear that perspective because I totally agree with yours. All right. Andy Engel, I must say my pastor is anything but lazy. In fact, I'm not sure how he puts together those sermons every week because they are incredibly researched and delivered with excellence. And that's good. That's the type of church you want to go to. And I don't understand when they go to the big mega churches and it's like for, what would it be, for class or whatever, for, what do you call that, for whatever, to be seen. I don't know. All right, I go to church with this guy.
Oh,
with this
I got
politician or
right.
whatever. Okay, Young Kim, what has Micah done since becoming lieutenant governor? Nothing. And I have yet to get a response from his office, just like you, Rob.
3 communications people. You'd think somebody could respond.
Micah, what do you do?
You notice Beckwith will never get lippy about me. You notice that? He talks a lot of smack to a lot of people.
I would never hear him. I don't know where he would.
Yeah, no. Anytime somebody gets lippy about me, it comes back to me. He won't do it. Why? Because he knows I can toe it up. I can go toe-to-toe with him. And he knows I see through his BS. Micah depends on getting snippy with people like Ron Alting that he believes are weak and won't stand back up to him. That's what he does.
All right. Let's see. Debbie Holcomb, Rockin' Friday at the Rob Kendall Show. Charles Ludy. Rob cleans up nice in that coat and tie.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
I've still got that suit, and it still fits.
All right. Let's see. So I believe, okay, we'll leave it with Ethan Hatcher. Hashtag to heck with Beckwith. There we go. I think that's a good one to leave it on a Friday. And I got to ban same guy twice. I knew it was coming. Don't like to do that. We have a nice community, good chat community, and that's the way we keep it. You can go on Facebook and be an ass all you want. I've done it, still do it. That's you just whatever, but not here. Not going to happen. So that's the chat, Rob. That was a good, pretty good Friday.
Yeah, that was fun. A little different today. That's the fun thing about this. We can do this with this show. We can mix it up. We're going to mix it up.
Right. By the way, guys, find me at Producer Jason on Facebook.
Yeah.
Got some stuff starting to post stuff. So
you got to do it.
Go check it out. Facebook. Producer Jason. I'd love to see you there. All right. So long. I'm out. Black sheep homing.
There you go. Thank you. All right. That's going to do it for us, guys. Have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. If you haven't done so yet, please hit the little like button before you leave today. That really helps us out. Don't forget, just 2 weeks until the live show. We've only got a few tickets left. Then John will leave me alone over at Mad Hatter, and that's great. That's one less thing I got to worry about. Get your tickets over the weekend if you can. RobKendallShow.com. We got the live ticket link up there, RobKendallShow.com. Also, support button at RobKendallShow.com. And you guys are the best. We love you. We thank you for all that you do for us. Everything we give to you guys, you give us back. Give it back to us tenfold. You're the most amazing audience in the world. We love you. We appreciate you. You be safe out there. We'll see you back here on Monday. For Producer Jason, I'm Rob Kendall. You've been watching Rob Kendall Show.